This is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Two more chances here. 41 seconds to go. EJ and Omar both far side. Becker near side. Mendoza in the backfield. Back to throw. Pressure comes again. Throws it to the end zone. And the catch is made. Is it a touchdown? Touchdown! Unbelievable! Omar Cooper with a grab. And he put his foot down. It's a score for Indiana.
Touchdown! Wow! Omar Cooper! Unbelievable!
Was the left foot the first one to touch?
Oh my goodness, it's a touchdown.
Oh my gosh!
Go on you! 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 Go on you!
Daniel Jones, great give to Jonathan Taylor. He's well over 100 yards. He adds to his total there, and he gets out. He's at the 30, 35, 40. He's going left sideline. He's got a chance. Look at Pierce. He's at the 20, 10, 5, touchdown! There's the record breaker for Jonathan Taylor, and it puts the Colts on top, 22-17. Penix backs the pass. Here comes a late rush by the Colts, and Penix goes down. Sack! It will be a sack back to the 21-yard line. Zaire Franklin with an OT special. Five-step drop for Jones. Plants. And he's going to air one to the right side. And over-the-shoulder catch made. Tyler Warren. He does it again. Ball between the hash marks. I formation. Counter give to Taylor. Cuts at the 5. He's going to score. Touchdown. Walk-off. The Colts in Berlin with the walk-off touchdown by Jonathan Taylor with his third rushing touchdown today. And in overtime, the Colts send everybody in Berlin home happy. Final score, Colts 31, Falcons 25.
Just a phenomenal atmosphere, for us to come over here and have the honor and the privilege to play here in front of these fans in such a historic stadium was just awesome.
I do this every day. Hocus pocus is my stilo.
93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Good morning, everyone. Kevin Bowen is on paternity leave. Congratulations to Maddie and Kevin as they welcome in child number 3.
Nellie Bowen.
On I think it was Saturday afternoon, or was it Friday night or Saturday afternoon?
I don't know. It came up on my timeline, so I knew it happened on Saturday. Time-wise, I don't know. But, yeah, beautiful girl. So, obviously got the looks from Maddie's side, not Kevin. But very happy for them, so he'll be on paternity leave for a little bit. But all the best. Nothing better than a new addition to the family and the morning show family.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. James Adams is still in Germany right now. Had a tough time getting over James Boyd. Sorry, James Adams is our afternoon producer for JMV. Maybe he's stuck in Germany too. For all you know, I don't know. We'll find out this afternoon. But no, James Boyd is going to be joining us from Berlin coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. We're looking forward to that. In the meantime, Caleb Zuver's in the house this morning. Caleb, how you doing?
This is a great day to be in here, guys.
They were giving you all kinds of flowers on the ESPN morning show.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But
it was Caleb this, it was Caleb that. He was great. Did you hear that, Mark?
I did.
Man, you're all over the place.
Definitely not to be confused with any other Caleb. They were definitely talking about our Caleb.
Good day for the Calebs. The Colts win yesterday, and Caleb Williams pulls it out for the Bears, Mark. I know we'll talk about that later.
See,
in the
there
show.
you go, being humble again. Just take that compliment and move right on, okay? Caleb was terrific, and so it's going to be Mark and I carrying the bulk of the show this morning, which we're looking forward to. And like I said, it is Victory Monday. That one kept you on the edge of your seat. Not a great day for the offensive line. Not the best day ever for Daniel Jones. He did enough. But Jonathan Taylor is one of those games where he just said, boys, get in my wagon. Everybody, let me know when you're in. We're going this way, and it's going to end in 6, and it's going to end in a win, and I'm just going to carry us home with 244 yards. And I'm telling you, man, you think you've got him, Barry Sanders-like. You think you've got him in the backfield, and the next thing you know, he pops outside, and you better, if you're a defender and he makes that move to the outside, Mark, you had better beat him to the corner, because if you don't, you're going to be looking at a lot of 28 from the backside all the way down the field.
Oh, that was a beautiful thing to watch, that 83-yard run. It was just like, you thought he was dead because he got caught in the middle, and then he just bounced outside, and he took off, and it was just like nothing but daylight, and it was a beautiful thing to see. So, yeah, the Colts are riding Jonathan Taylor as they should right now. They head into the bye week at 8-2, but I've got some concerns, Jeff, that I think we should dive into. That 8-2
we got a lot
looks
of
nice,
concerns,
but there are some big concerns starting to show, and I'm hoping it's not just a 2-week. I'm hoping it's a 2-week blip on the radar, but there are some chinks in the armor that are not looking so hot all of a sudden. The offensive line struggled once again. They looked terrible yesterday, despite Jonathan Taylor's big day. Daniel Jones, bloody mouth and all, he's starting to kind of, turning into a pumpkin a little bit. He hasn't been exactly phenomenal the last 2 weeks, but they're 8-2 at the bye week. Who would have ever guessed that? They got a big one coming up against the Chiefs, so we hope they can get healthy, get right on the offensive line, get Daniel Jones right, and then we're hitting the second half of the schedule all guns blazing.
Yeah, they are 8-2 right now, but as you mentioned, I have to think, though, look, I said Daniel Jones, not the best day ever. It was not the worst day ever. It was not the best day ever. Daniel Jones has got to take care of the football.
Yes.
That's the big thing for Daniel Jones. A lot of the problems Daniel Jones had the last 2 weeks, all of a sudden the offensive line is horrendous. They surrendered 7 sacks yesterday. 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, 7 sacks. Daniel Jones is under pressure constantly, even on the 83-yard touchdown run to Jonathan Taylor. He had everything, the backfield collapsed on him, and he just found an escape route.
Yeah.
The offensive line right now, for whatever reason, and I'll have to go back and take a good, long, hard look second time around to the game again. But the offensive line is not playing like an 8-2 football team right now. And if they don't get that fixed during this bye week, they're going to get run out of Arrowhead Stadium.
And I don't know what's happened because up until these last 2 weeks, the offensive line had only given up 9 sacks in the first 8 games. In the last 2 games, they've given up 12. So something's gone wrong in these last 2 weeks. I'm not sure exactly what it is. James is there at Berlin. We'll get a little insight to maybe what he thinks is going on. Because it's not like the faces are changing. It's not like they've been also all of a sudden dealt with a bunch of injuries. It's the same crew that they've been rolling with all season. So all of a sudden, something's off, and they're just not getting the protection. I don't know if it's a step up in class, because the Steelers, although they're not having the best defensive year, they still have TJ Watt and whatnot on that side. The Falcons, they're up and down. They're kind of a Jekyll and Hyde defense, but they were really good yesterday, and you're only going to see a step up in class defensively, and you're also going to see more division games in this last side of the schedule. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on the offensive line, but let's hope they use this week off to not only get healthy, but to get right and figure out what were we doing right in these first 8 games that has not gone well in these last 2.
Well, that's what they're going to have to figure out there. Look, 10 games in the books, 8 wins. Nobody is going to give that back, and there's a lot of great things going on. Is Cam Bynum I think he is so motivated to do some end zone dances. He is just turning into a turnover machine.
Oh,
man, let's give him some love.
That sack he had just like to start the game on Michael Penix, that was just right in the back, like an old school hit right there.
Well, I think it's a big play because when you consider the Colts went down, didn't score on that opening drive, got stopped on 4th down to get the turnover right back and then go up 7-0 is kind of a sigh of relief there. Cam is awesome, man. And just that smile is so infectious. He's smiling for 3 hours every Sunday. It's awesome.
It is a lot of fun to watch, and I thought the defensive line was okay without DeForest Buckner, who obviously has got a chest issue and was not able to play in that one. Hopefully he starts to get a little bit better over the course of this bye week, and as well as a couple of other guys that have been held out. I'm not aware, Mark, any big injuries we're worried about coming out of the game. It didn't feel like it, but sometimes people show up on Monday and you're like, oh, didn't know that.
No, but I mean, Buckner going to the IR, I mean, it wasn't great that we were already getting him ruled out before the game, and
he's
now
got to be ready in 4 weeks, though.
Yeah,
got to be
because now you got the Chiefs next up and all that, so you need him down the stretch. You need that guy, the leader in the clubhouse defensively. So let's hope he gets right. Let's hope he can stay in football shape and be ready to go when he comes off the IR. But that is a big blow. So now this defensive side of the Colts just needs to try to not take on too much water while he's out.
All right, well, they'll have to figure out a way to do that without him for the next couple of weeks. And like I said, given that big injury to the defensive line, given the way the offensive line has played the last 2 weeks, and we're going to talk about all the positive stuff and a lot of Jonathan Taylor love all day long because there was a lot of great things that came out of that game yesterday. I'm getting concerned about the offensive line 2 weeks in a row. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Kansas City has a very good defense right now. and they got a guy named Chris Jones right in the middle who just disrupts everybody. He's that old school guy, Mark. Remember, I don't know if you remember, you're probably too young for this. The Miller Lite commercials, Deacon Jones. You heard of Deacon Jones.
I've seen the
great
commercial,
defensive end. And they asked him, like, how did you defend? And he was basically like, I just grabbed the whole backfield and started throwing guys out until I found the one with the ball.
That's Chris Jones.
Chris Jones is like that, right? So
yeah, I don't know if it's a step up in class defensively or if it's just maybe you're facing really talented edge rushers all of a sudden, but whatever's going on in the Colts offensive line, you got to fix it. They got to get in the lab and they got to figure out what's going on. How do we fix this situation? Because, I mean, Daniel Jones, he survived. He had a bloody mouth at the end of the game. You don't want anything worse than that going forward because if he goes out, then we really start having a lot of flags go up.
All right, so we got that going on, and we also need to address the very great part of that intro that Caleb made this morning. I'm calling it the toe tap heard round the world. Seen round the world, heard round the world. Unbelievable. The man goes about 3 feet airborne, extended. Fernando Mendoza throws it off his back foot because he's about to get clobbered by a couple of Penn State guys in the backfield. So he floats it up. Credit to him for putting the ball where only Omar Cooper can go up and get it. Well, not only does Omar Cooper go up and get it, Mark, but his body is leaning out the back of the end zone, and somehow he defies gravity. He should be moving out of the end zone, right? Somehow, as he's doing that, he's able to come down straight enough to not only tap the right toe with about 3 inches to spare, which you couldn't see it on the original camera point. He's got about 3 inches of daylight between his toe tap and the end line, and then he gets the second toe down. If it was in the NFL, he'd have gotten credit for that catch. Might have been one of the 3 greatest catches I've ever seen in my life, and I'll tell you why it gets consideration for the best catch any of us have ever seen, because of time, place, situation, and everything on the line. And Indiana comes up with another win, another tough road environment. People are going to say, well, they barely beat Iowa in Iowa City. Well, they barely beat the Penn State in Happy Valley. You just don't go in and win in those places unless you're a top-ranked team.
No.
I mean, there is truth to that.
I'm no physics major or anything like that, but how his body and getting able to get the toes down and everything like that, I'm like, I was befuddled. I was like, I don't understand how this just happened. I don't understand. I loved it, but I don't understand it. And I don't know. Gus Johnson, I thought he was going to blow an artery the way he was screaming, but that was a lot. That's just IU's season. That's how it's been kind of, you like, man, are they really going to lose to Penn State if they launch James Franklin? No, they're not. And they're 10-0. And now they've got, only a couple games left. And can they keep a run going and make it to the playoffs and see how far this thing goes? I don't know. But I love Kurt Cignetti's energy even before the game where they said, IU's never really played well here. He's like, they've never played this team. I'm like, I like that man. I like that man a lot. I like what he's doing, and he's getting it done. So hats off to IU. Another great win for them. Best win of the season in my book. And Omar Cooper, what a snag that was.
I think for both teams, Colts and IU, you just had to get out alive this weekend.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter how it looked, how you did it, but it just mattered that you got out of there. So it was pretty awesome.
And it doesn't matter how ugly. The wins still look the same in the column. So as long as, ugly, pretty, doesn't matter.
And did they just discover another weapon on Saturday?
Sure seemed like it.
Did you see the play all day long of their brand new tight end? I shouldn't say brand new tight end, but Charlie Becker had himself a day.
Yeah, that final drive.
Certainly not a brand new tight end, but I'm saying the debut of a sparkling, shiny weapon on Saturday. 7 catches, 118 yards. And every time I looked up, he was making not only big catches, but important catches, again, in context at crucial times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they find a way to win every single time. I don't know how they're doing it, but they get the most out of every single guy in that team. I credit Kurt Cignetti for just getting his guys up ready for the moment. Even when you're in a hostile environment like Penn State, they find a way.
All right, lots to talk about this morning. We'll take all of your comments on the phone at 239-1070. Same number for the fan text line, which is already blowing up this morning, Mark. We'll get to some of those in the second half of this hour. At the top of the hour, James Boyd will join us from Berlin on a show where we're talking about an 8-2 NFL team, an undefeated November college football team. And do we have a Heisman winner in Bloomington?
Might be.
We'll talk about it next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Wasn't always pretty. It was exciting, and it was all about number 28.
Jones, straight give to Jonathan Taylor. He's well over 100 yards. He adds to his total there, and he gets out. He's at the 30, 35, 40. He's going left sideline. He's got a chance. Look at Pierce. He's at the 20, 10, 5, touchdown! There's the record breaker for Jonathan Taylor, and it puts the Colts on top, 22-17. And that's an all-time record for an already all-time great. Jonathan Taylor now has the most rushing touchdowns in Colts history.
Oh, yes, he does. That was one of 3 on the day. And he goes into the Colts record books, but more importantly, in overtime, he also scored on a touchdown run as the Colts win it 31-25. Oh, yeah, the Atlanta Falcons were the other team that was playing in that game yesterday. It was in Berlin, Germany. Probably exciting for those who don't get to see a lot of NFL football because there were turnovers, there were sacks, there were long touchdown runs. There was everything you could possibly imagine. Maybe no kick returns for touchdowns, but outside of that, if you were just going to see an NFL game for the first time and you're German, you're probably hooked after that game, I would imagine.
Yeah, you weren't saying 9, you were saying more, or whatever the German word for more is. Yeah,
So-
that was a good. That was probably one of the. And I know I'm biased, but that was probably one of the better international games we've seen. Not only this season, but overall, because usually there's quite a few stinkers there. Usually because the Jaguars are a part of it. But that was a good one. Colts are 8-2. Jonathan Taylor, is he the greatest running back in Colts history? Is it too early to tell? Whew. He's got the records already. He's racking them up.
I think also a good question is that the greatest run he's had in a Colts uniform? I think it is, personally. I think that's the best run of his career. But
he's definitely got a few to choose from. But yeah, I mean, he's not slowing down. He's young. He's young and he's already got the record. So that record is going to be, almost unattainable by whoever comes in after he leaves town. But hell of a game by Jonathan Taylor, and obviously a couple concerns popping up on that game despite the win. But we'll dive into that more as the show rolls on.
Yeah, 7 sacks taken by the Colts offensive line and Daniel Jones, who fumbled 3 times, lost a couple, and also we haven't even talked about, I think, one of the big keys to that win yesterday. Like, how good is rookie Tyler Warren at tight end, whether he's catching a ball, whether he's making blocks. Did you see on the touchdown run to win the game? He was the guy, basically the lead block for Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, he's putting in work. They're making him, you're not just a pass-catching tight end. You got to throw some coverage in here, some blocking. So he's excelling at that as well. If he's not the front runner for Rookie of the Year, he's got to be close because yeah, he's having a hell of a season.
8 catches, 99 yards, and just a couple of huge blocks. And the Colts go on to win it 31-25. They now enter into their bye week. They'll come out of the bye week a week from Sunday to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, who are starting to hit their stride. They had their bye yesterday. And I think we'll find out a lot about who this Colts team really is as a contender, because if you're going to go into a road environment, they're going to have to play better than they did in Pittsburgh, certainly. They're going to have to play better than they did in a neutral environment in Berlin yesterday. If they want to beat the Kansas City Chiefs on the road at Arrowhead, that offensive line has got to figure something out. They got to figure it out in a hurry. We'll find out more from James Boyd, who will join us live from Berlin at the top of the hour. The Colts moved to 8-2 within their division. We had the Jaguars blew a 29-10 lead yesterday. The Texans scored 26 points in the fourth quarter, including the game-winning touchdown as time was expiring.
I called it on Friday.
36-29.
I called it on Friday. People were like, well, Davis Mills is starting. I don't trust the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't trust them one bit. And I saw that game happening on Red Zone in the fourth quarter. I'm like, they are going to blow this game to Davis Mills, and the Texans are going to get a breath of life in a season that is usually, it's been off the rails for the most part. But the Texans topped them. The Jaguars lost, and I don't feel one bit of sadness for them because they should be right there with the Colts, and instead they've got a 3-game gap now.
Yeah, Jacksonville was down 30-29 with the ball on their own side of the field, but getting close to midfield. And then Sheldon Rankins had a 32-yard fumble recovery, scores. Probably some fantasy teams that have the Houston Texans got very happy all of a sudden, but 36-29 was the final score there. When you go back, though, and you look at it, the Colts are 8-2 now in the AFC South. Jacksonville falls to 5-4. The Houston Texans are 4-5. Just keep winning some games that you're supposed to win. The Colts should be okay in the AFC South.
Stealing a line from Kevin Bone, God bless the AFC South. That's all you can say, especially this year. boy, Colts are making hay when they need to, and the division is definitely helping them out as well, so they're not feeling the heat.
Yeah, if you were watching Sunday Night Football last night, too, the Chargers at home beat the Steelers 25-10. Kamani Vidal, 95 yards and a touchdown, and Ladd McConkey had 4 catches for 107 yards and a touchdown. And the Chargers, you talk about the opposite of the AFC South. The AFC West, they have Kansas City, the Chargers, and the Broncos now. And right now, I'd probably still say Kansas City is the best team, even though they might not win that division. Chargers are improving, and the Broncos, I don't know what to think of the Broncos. They've got the best defense in the league, but, man, they struggle on offense.
Bo Nix doesn't start playing until the fourth quarter, usually, it seems like.
Wow.
And can we not gloss over Aaron Rodgers stinks to high heaven? That was glorious to watch.
I was going to move
night.
instead to the Bears, 24-20 win over the Giants
again
yesterday.
I'll take a Bears win. I also relish in a Aaron Rodgers loss, especially when it looked like garbage all game.
Jackson Dart had to leave that game for the Giants with a concussion. We certainly hope that he is going to be okay. But Caleb Williams had a nice little fourth quarter for himself, too.
He is starting to become a player that you win because of and not because you just win with. So that was a step-up game in the fourth quarter. He had wide receivers dropping balls all game long, and yet he put the team on his back, and they got a victory. They escaped again. These are games that usually they would end in losses, and they're not going that way in the Ben Johnson era. So far, so good. But we'll see what happens. Their schedule also, much like the Colts, steps up in class here on the back half.
All right, Indiana beat Penn State 27-24. We talked about that a moment ago. Fernando Mendoza to Omar Cooper with an unbelievable catch of the century with 36 seconds left, given time, place, context, and what was going on. The footwork on that, the body control, and the catch itself. I mean, first of all, he has to go way high to make the catch. Then he's got to come back down and he got both feet in, as it turned out, but he had to tap it. He was falling out of bounds. It was just amazing. I don't think you can be a sports fan and not have seen it by now, but if you haven't seen it, first thing you do when you turn your computer on this morning is make sure you go find Omar Cooper touchdown.
Watch it 1,000 times.
I have.
It's
better every time.
Every call of it. It's amazing.
So they rallied to beat Penn State 27-24, remain undefeated at 10-0. Do you know they are the only team in America to have an undefeated record with 10 wins right now? Ohio State is 9-0 still, as is Texas A&M. The polls, Ohio State still number 1 in the AP Top 25 in coaches poll. Indiana number 2 in both those polls. And Notre Dame, coming off their win over Navy, goes up 1 spot in both polls. They are now 9th in both the coaches poll and the AP Top 25 because Jeremiah Love is a stud. I don't know if you watched him.
He is. He's going to be possibly a top 10 pick as well. So we'd have. Mendoza might be the first quarterback off the board, and Jeremiah Love is definitely going to be the first running back off the board. So you might have 2 players in the Hoosier State going in the top 10 of the NFL draft this year.
All right, sad news this morning, too, to report on the deaths over the weekend of Paul Tagliabue, who served as the NFL commissioner for 17 years, passed away at the 84. And I just learned of this one this morning when I came in. Hall of Fame basketball coach and player Lenny Wilkins has passed away at the age of 88. So Godspeed to both of those men and best to their families and friends. All right.
I saw the Wilkins news come across during Sunday Night Football. I was like, oh, man, gut punch right there because just a legend.
Yeah. I did not watch a lot of the second half of that because I was watching the Pacers lose to Golden State. 114-83 was the final score.
God bless
Indiana
you
falls to
that.
1-9. I was also listening. I like to listen to the broadcast as well because that's what I do, right? And I also happen to think we have the best play-by-play announcer in all of the NBA. And after the first quarter last night, Mark Boyle says, where both teams were turning the ball over, both teams were shooting about 30%. I think there were 9 total turnovers in that first quarter. And Mark Boyle calmly, when they come back to start the second quarter, goes, Eddie, if you brought someone into this building and they had never seen an NBA basketball game in their life, and they watched that first quarter, they left, and they're not coming back.
Not pushing the viewership is what you're saying. Not exactly the prettiest game.
I may be paraphrasing, but it was a tough one, and we'll talk about all the injuries that the Pacers have as we move along through the day as well.
I was hoping they could split this road trip. It was very bold and can we split? I think they might be coming back 1-11 by the time they get back in town on Saturday. It is looking a bit grim all of a sudden.
We are way over time. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll start to get to some of your texts and calls and thoughts for the day. Got James Boyd coming up at the top of the hour live from Berlin. You're listening to The Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Out of the gun is Jones. Empty set. Backs the pass on first down. He's got time. He's going to load one deep downfield for Alec Pierce. Into the end zone in double coverage. He makes the catch. Touchdown! A 37-yard strike. Jones to Alec Pierce for the touchdown in Berlin. Colts back on top, 12-7.
It's the Fan Morning Show, 93.5, 107.5. The Fan. Mark Dykton in today as Kevin Bowen is on paternity leave. Brand new daddy for their third. Congratulations to Kevin and Maddie.
Went from playing man to zone now, so good luck.
I just remember having 2 under 2.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know how far apart your kids are. I think 2 or 3 years apart, right?
They were 2017, 2019, and 2021, so about 2 years each.
I had 16 months.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how people do it. Like, that was permanent birth control for us. Love our kids. Would never trade them for anything in the world. Greatest thing that's ever happened to us in our lives, both kids. But I was scared to death after having 2 under 2.
My favorite day of the ever as a dad was the day I was like, we don't have to buy diapers anymore. They're all potty trained. What do we do with all these? Who wants these Pampers right now? Because we don't need them. That's the greatest feeling, too, when you're like, oh, some of these costs are going to go down because diapers ain't cheap.
Yeah, and God bless people with, like, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids. God bless. Honestly, nothing but respect.
Respect and a bit of insanity, because my thing has always been when I see big families like that, I always like, how are you going to the grocery store? Is this just like a one-off? Like, how are you bringing these people? A shuttle bus? I don't understand.
Baby. Bulk. Just buy everything in bulk. The Colts are winning in bulk. How about that? They bounce back from their loss at Pittsburgh. They win on a neutral field in Berlin. 8-2, their record on the season right now, and they get an overtime victory against the I expected a tough game from the Atlanta Falcons. I'll be honest with you. It did not surprise me. They got some players over there, man. Bijan Robinson is for real. Drake London was tearing us up all day long. Michael Penix throws a nice football. I don't know if he's a great quarterback yet at this point in time. They've got a really good defense. That's not a terrible team. I know they're only 3-5 or 3-6 now. It's not a terrible football team.
No, they do have some talent on that roster. That's why we're kind of getting a little nervous. Like, well, the international games, it seems like, despite the Colts technically being the home team in the game, it's a neutral site, and obviously the travel schedule affects people. But that Falcons defense, they've had ups and downs, and they definitely had more ups yesterday, I would say, despite the loss. They took it to Daniel Jones and that offensive line for the Colts, and raises my eyebrows some more as I was watching that game yesterday. Like, all right, this is, was the Steelers game just a blip on the radar, or is this like cause for concern for a couple things? Because all of a sudden Daniel Jones is turning the ball over a little bit more. He's getting a little bit of butterfingers going with the football and all that. The offensive line has all of a sudden become a sieve where you're giving up 12 sacks.
I don't think he's helped them, though.
No, he's not. But the offensive line gave up 9 sacks in the first 8 games. Now they've given up 12 in the last 2. I mean, something's gone wrong there. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if Shane Steichen has to maybe think about changing up his play calling a bit going forward, because while your offensive line is going through these struggles, do you need to start adjusting for the blitz that the defenses are bringing you and maybe do some shorter out routes or something like that, or just more check down passes? I don't know what it is, but the bye week could not come at a more perfect time, in my opinion, for the Colts, because you've escaped with, you split the last 2 games, but your offensive line is starting look a little bit leaky. This is a great time to get right, get healthy, and start figuring out where are we erring in these last 2 games, and can we get right before we take on the Kansas City Chiefs?
I think it's a great point, Mark, about adjusting, because I think last week a lot of the talk, and Coach Shane Steichen was asked about it in the press conferences this week about like getting away from the run.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this week, when it was still a 1-score game, he got Jonathan Taylor involved, kept him in it, kept the defense having to respect him, and then he eventually broke loose. And I think when it comes to adjusting, you're so right about some of the deep routes that the Colts were running gave Daniel Jones no answers.
No.
And so I think it's a lot of different things. It's on Daniel, it's on the line, it's on Steichen. They'll have to get it cleaned up in the bye.
They leaned on Jonathan Taylor. He touched the ball 35 times. 35 times.
Again, if a running back is going to win MVP, you got to be putting up numbers, and he is putting up numbers week in and week. How many times has he ran for 3 touchdowns this season? Like 4 or 5 times?
It's insane.
It's insane what he is doing.
But Damian Tomlinson's over there going, I don't know if my record's going to hold up this year.
He has been absolutely unbelievable, and all I can think of is, like, if you take Jonathan Taylor off of this team, especially, how they've been playing lately, like, what would even they look like right now? I mean, it could have gotten really ugly yesterday, because if you take those 3 touchdowns off the board that he had, you're losing that game. You're losing that game because you're getting a little too aggressive, I think, in the red zone at times. There's times I was yelling at Shane Steichen yesterday, just take the points. Take the points. Just take the field goal and see what's going on. But I understand he's got some concerns about the field goal kicker. Badgley, he was on the scrap heap.
Badgley was short on the long one. The accuracy was okay.
Yeah,
he was just short on that.
I mean, he was on the scrap heap for a reason. You're on your backup kicker right now, so it is always going to be rough. But if you can lean on a guy like Jonathan Taylor, who's having an MVP-like season, you do that 7 days a week and twice on Sunday.
Yeah. Always Injured Indiana just tweeted at me, it's not the line. I've seen Smith get beat too much, but it's DJ and the offense as a whole not having a blitz beater, a hot route, screen, etc. Pitt and Atlanta started bringing 6-7 guys. No line is picking that up, have to throw hot and make them pay. And you're right, the bye comes at a good time because they got to self-diagnose what's going on with that offensive line and with defending that pass rush over the last 2 weeks.
I trust that coaching staff to get it right, too. They're going to be, looking at film and everything like that and start seeing what's going on because, again, the schedule amps up. Did you see what, the Kansas City Chiefs are still the Kansas City Chiefs. You've got a lot of division games coming up. Oh, by the way, you've also got the Seattle Seahawks who look like one of the best teams in the NFL right now. Did you see what they were doing yesterday? They were tearing people up defensively. And so you've got a tougher schedule going ahead. You are going to face teams that are not going to be afraid to charge the offensive line and come after Daniel Jones, especially if they think that he's vulnerable to turn it over, which he has been the last couple of weeks. So they've got some big questions, and I open the phone lines as well, 317-239-1070 if you want to weigh in. What are your thoughts, not only about the 8-2 start, but how you feel about the team going into the bye week? You got some concerns about the offensive line, Daniel Jones, all that going forward, because the other thing I was thinking of during the game yesterday was, boy, this Daniel Jones, this better not be more consistency of what we're seeing as opposed to the first 8 games because the Colts have made their decision that he is going to be the guy going forward considering what they gave up to acquire Sauce Gardner. So you have no first-round picks the next 2 years. You better hope that Daniel Jones the last 2 weeks doesn't keep showing up because you've got no fail-safe here. So Daniel Jones has got to be the guy. You've got to get him right. Shane Steichen's got to work with him and get that going, but he is your answer at quarterback for the time being, whether you're franchise tagging him or signing to a long-term extension. He's the guy going forward. So you cannot have Daniel Jones of New York show up. You need Daniel Jones of Indianapolis. Indiana Jones needs to make a return. Avoid the boulder, Indiana Jones. Avoid the boulder.
Matt C. texting in, Jeff, I'm glad they pulled that one out because if not, that loss was 100% on Steichen. His desire to go for it on third and fourth down and on fourth down inside the 30 is going to cause losses. He is, he's too analytic and needs to get a feel for the game. A lot of typos in there, Matt. Sorry, I know you're like me. My thumbs aren't that great either.
I know what he's saying though, but yeah, there's times again. I'm like, I know Badgley's not the best kicker, but there are times I'm just settle for the points. It's one of those games where it's like you need to just escape out of Berlin with a win. You need to just get that done. And there was times where that game looked very questionable that they're even going to get out of there or stay competitive. And it's like sometimes you just want to be like, just take the points. Take the 3 points. Fight for another day. Just get out of there with a win. They ended up doing that. It was on the legs of Jonathan Taylor. But I don't envy, maybe taking a pause a little bit on the whole aggressiveness and everything like that every once in a while because sometimes you just need points. Yeah. Sometimes you just need points and you can take the wind out of the sails of the opponent.
Also, the other thing as I look at my Twitter account, because I always like to check and see if people are reaching out that way, it feels like, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, Mark, I'm feeling magnetic. I have a lot of self-confidence right now. Every time I tweet now, I attract 5 or 6 unbelievably gorgeous women that also just want to follow me and make contact.
Look at that.
How's that work?
I know my DMs are always like, are you single? Are you in town? Like, no, you should know by now. I'm always like, where were you, 15 years ago?
I'm sure they're all legit too.
I'm sure they're all real too. They're definitely
it's not a 48-year-old dude somewhere in Africa right now, right?
No, I know. Yeah. I'm always amazed. I'm like, I didn't know I had such machismo, such charisma until they slide into the DMs.
All right, the commission also texts in at 239-1070 on the fan text line. Shane has forgotten that field goals are important. No overtime if we kick instead of going on fourth down. A lot of people really going on that. Chris Lander says you can't blame Jones. Any quarterback that gets sacked at this rate is going to fumble. He had 0 pocket time. This all falls on the O-line. I think it's a lot more complicated. I think the offensive line is struggling against the blitz right now. They don't really have anybody that's picking it up on the second level of the backfield at this point in time. He's not exactly Mr. Calm, Cool, and Collected the last couple of weeks, every time under that bliss. There's a lot of things going on right now.
Yeah, he had a deer in the headlights look at times yesterday, which I don't blame him. He had a bloody mouth at the end of the game and all that because he was taking some real shots. The offensive line has just got to be better. You've got to be better. You've shown that you can be one of the more stout units in the entire NFL through the first 8 games. Again, I don't know what's happened in the last 2 weeks. I'm going to rewatch the game later today as well. But there are some issues going on there. And again, I trust the coaching staff to get them right heading into the Chiefs game because you're going to need it down the stretch. You cannot let Daniel Jones get injured. You cannot be struggling to just protect him all the time because those shots are going to add up eventually, and he's going to be worse for wear.
Adam K. has got a new nickname. He likes that new nickname for you, Machismo Mark.
Hey, I'll take it. Can I change the Twitter
Mark?
handle?
That's how that goes.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on there.
It's worse. It's better than other nicknames that I usually get. So.
Jimmy wants to know, where did play action go?
Boy, you're not kidding because, yeah, as well as Jonathan Taylor is running right now, I did see a lack of play action. And you think, they always say you run to set up the pass, and you've got a workhorse in the backfield and Jonathan Taylor, and just, I don't know, they're not seeing it. I don't know if that is just, they're just playing the game how it's playing out or whatever, but the lack of play action, you want to help out your running game or your offensive line and your passing game, do some play action.
Guys,
trust that Jonathan Taylor will take some defenders away.
I know and I agree. There are issues here, okay?
Mm-hmm. But Caleb's sitting in for Mark because Mark is sitting in for Kevin, and James is going to join us from Berlin at 9.
Uh-huh. While I have this microphone and I have the platform to say this, I am going to say I do think there is an element of other guys on the other team get paid too.
Oh, yeah.
And adjustments throughout a season, like film gathers and other teams figure out tendencies. And so, yes, like all these things should be pointed out, but also at the same time, like I, as a fan, do trust Shane Steichen to adjust back and figure out ways, especially through the bye week, to figure those things out. So all these things are valuable to point out, but I do think like to get out of there with a win, be 8-2, is a lot different than 7-3 in my opinion.
You'll take it.
And
you'll take it.
Now, you definitely do have to make some changes, come up with some answers to some heavy blitzing that the other teams are doing. And so I this is all valuable conversation, but like they did a great job to get out of there alive.
Yeah, they definitely did because, the worst thing we could be doing is talking about a loss and you're coming back from that trip from Berlin and you're got an L and you're heading into the bye week, a sour taste in your mouth. So, yes, 8-2, no one could have seen that coming. Well, Jeff did because he had 11,
That's right. Yeah,
11 wins or whatever. Which
this is not surprising to Jeff.
You guys love to hammer me for AD, which I get it. That's fine. But, when I said 10 or 11 wins, everybody looked at me like I was nuts.
I was checking to see what was actually in that coffee cup. I'm like, it smells like scotch in here. No, I hand raised. I was wrong because I thought this was going to be a fire sale season and all that. But they've proven me wrong. They've proven a lot of people wrong. And 8-2, no one could have thought that was going to even be remotely possible heading into the bye week. But they've answered the bell to this point. Yes, they have questions, but you're also 8-2, and you every team's got a little bit of questions going on. So good to see there. And we'll see what happens as they get out of this bye week and everybody returns, tries to get their body clocks right, and then you've got the Kansas City Chiefs right out of the bye, which should be one of the tougher tests of the entire season.
There are 3 teams right now in the National Football League that are 8-2. All of them are in the AFC. The New England Patriots worry me a little bit because I think they found their next generation quarterback in Drake May. Man, he looks good. Home, road, under pressure. He's athletic. He throws a nice football. Smart kid. I think the Patriots, they're well coached now with Vrabel over there. They got a quarterback. And also Travion Henderson looked like he looked at Ohio State yesterday.
Yeah, he ripped off that big run and everything. They've looked very good. And if you could have given me any amount of money if you just said who are going to be the top 3 teams in the AFC this late in the season. If you would have said the Colts, the Broncos, and the Patriots, I would have said, you are drunk, friend. You need to sit this one out. But that's the top of the AFC right now. The Colts, the Broncos, and the Patriots all at 8-2. And then you've got the Bills, who had a horrible loss to the Miami Dolphins last night. And then you've got the Ravens, who are starting to get on track. They're starting to feel themselves a little bit more with Lamar Jackson. But the Bengals, no Joe Burrow. And the Chiefs are starting to do Chiefs things. But at the top of the AFC South right now, it's a bunch of teams that I don't think anyone could have seen coming.
All right, let's go to the phone lines very quickly before the top of the hour. James Boyd going to join us from Berlin in a moment, 239-1070. Paul the mailman.
Yes.
Are you delivering on a Monday morning in the snow, my man?
Oh, I'm going to be delivering.
Yeah.
But but my route is mounted, so I'll be okay. I don't walk. I stay in my truck.
I gotcha.
So
Keep
that's a good thing.
Keep that heater on. What you got for me? You got about 30 seconds. Go.
I got two things. One, IU, proud of him for staying with it and sticking it out, and Mendoza and the boys pulled it out. And then the second one is the Colts. No, it's not Daniel Jones' fault that he's getting sacked that much, but it is his fault that he's letting go of the ball. Also, there is a kicker out there now whose suspension is up, Justin Tucker, who can get the job done as far as making long field goals and be consistent. We need to make a change as far as the field goal kick goes, and the Colts need to make some adjustments as far as the offensive line and making sure Daniel Jones holds on to the ball. That's the only problem I have with Daniel Jones is in the last two games, 6 fumbles.
Yeah.
If he can get that under control, the Colts will be just fine and can make it to the Super Bowl this year.
All right, Paul. Appreciate it. Good luck today. Stay warm. I do not see Carly Gordon Ursay signing Justin Tucker. I'm just throwing that out there right now.
I'd bet your money on that wouldn't happen.
You seem to bet my money a lot.
That's
Mark.
how confident I am that he's not coming.
All right, we're going to go over the pond. Berlin, that's where James Boyd is. He's going to join us to talk about what he saw as the Colts come up with an overtime win over the Falcons yesterday. That's next at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
JB and Jeff.
2 more chances here. 41 seconds to go. EJ and Omar both far side. Becker near side. Mendoza in the backfield. Back to throw. Pressure comes again. Throws it to the end zone. And the catch is made. Is it a touchdown? Touchdown! Unbelievable! Omar Cooper with a grab. And he put his foot down. It's a score for Indiana.
Was the left foot the first one to touch?
Oh, my goodness. It's a touchdown.
Oh, my gosh!
Go are you! 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 Go are you!
Daniel Jones, great give to Jonathan Taylor. He's well over 100 yards. He adds to his total there, and he gets out. He's at the 30, 35, 40. He's going sideline. He's got a chance. Look at Pierce. He's at the 20, 10, 5, touchdown! There's the record breaker for Jonathan Taylor, and it puts the Colts on top, 22-17. Penix backs the pass. Here comes a late rush by the Colts, and Penix goes down. Sack! It will be a sack back to the 21-yard line. Zaire Franklin with an OT special. 5-step drop for Jones. Plants. And he's going to air one to the right side. And over the shoulder catch made. Tyler Warren. He does it again. Ball between the hash marks. I formation. Counter give to Taylor. Cuts at the 5. He's going to score. Touchdown. Walk on. The Colts in Berlin with the walk-off touchdown by Jonathan Taylor with his 3rd rushing touchdown today. And in overtime, the Colts send everybody in Berlin home happy. Final score, Colts 31, Falcons 25.
Just a phenomenal atmosphere, for us to come over here and have the honor and the privilege to play here in front of these fans in such a historic stadium was just awesome.
Ego, I do this every day. Hocus pocus is my stilo. Magic in me. I got the magic, baby. Every time I touch that track, it turns.
Victory Monday. The Indianapolis Colts with a 31-25 overtime win against the Atlanta Falcons in Berlin, Germany yesterday. Jonathan Taylor sets a new franchise touchdown record. You heard that one there at the 83-yard run. All he did was go for 244 yards and 3 touchdowns again, because that's what he does. Mark Dykton in today. I'm Jeff Rickard. Caleb Zuver over there on the 1s and 2s. We've got paternity leave for Kevin Bowen, who he and his wife Maddie welcomed in their 3rd child over the weekend. So
shout out.
Welcome to the world, Nelly. Also, James Boyd is in Berlin, Germany, and you're about to hear his voice right now on the Payless Liquors hotline. This is really long distance. Good morning, James Boyd. How's Berlin this morning? I guess it's midday up there now.
I was going to say it's 2 o'clock where I'm at, so I've been up, out and about, and the weather is pretty good. I think it's better than back home. No snow out here.
Yeah, I had to get you before you had a jug of beer over there. Not a pint, but a jug of beer over there. You have to explain that to everybody.
Yeah, made the joke a couple weeks ago at this point about Joel A. Erickson from Indy Star getting a jug of beer when we were in Tennessee. But no, I've not had any beer since I've been in Berlin. I'm a non-drinker, so I guess I'm sticking some ways.
Yeah, I saw Carly Gordon Ursay buy fans around a beer the other day at one of their gatherings. So that was kind of fun. All right, let's talk some football, James Boyd. 31-25 overtime win. What's your big takeaway from the 8th victory of the season for the Colts?
2 things. One, John Taylor is the best running back this franchise has ever had. I mean, I feel like it's not a hot take after the performance he just put on, but you look at all the numbers, all-time leader in rushing touchdowns now. 3 of the 4 best rushing performances for the Colts have come from John Taylor. He has 3 200-yard rushing games in his career. All other Colts combined only have 2. So he is in air solely by himself. And then number 2, I think the Colts have shown they're a really good team because they can win without their best stuff. I thought Daniel Jones and the offensive line were a bit problematic yesterday. They didn't give him a lot of time, and then he held onto the ball too long in some instances as well. Turned it over twice. He had 7 turnovers over the last 2 weeks. Not ideal for a quarterback you have now hitched your wagon to after trading 2 first-round picks. But like I said, you can win without your best stuff is a sign of a great team.
He's the sharpest dressed midday radio host in Indianapolis that's currently in Berlin right now. He's James Boyd joining us on the Payless Liquors Hotline. James, you mentioned it a little bit. The Colts offensive line, couple bad weeks in a row. Is that cause for concern, or is it just a blip on the radar at this point?
I do think it's a cause for concern because I just talked to Tony Sparano Jr., the Colts offensive line coach, I believe, last week before I left for Germany, and he said, hey, we'll get it corrected. This is unacceptable. We got to communicate better up front. And then you come out here and you give up a season-high 7 sacks, and we saw Daniel Jones in his mouth on the last, drive, I believe, of regulation where he's bleeding and things like that, and it comes from just getting hit a lot. So it is concerning to know that, over the last couple of weeks he's been sacked a lot more. I believe he's been sacked more over the last 2 weeks than he had been sacked in the first 8 games combined.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
12 versus 9. 12 in the last 2 games.
Number. That's not a good number, man. I'm worried about that for sure.
James Boyd joining us live from Berlin right now, where the Colts are fresh off an overtime victory over the Atlanta Falcons. We've talked about the concerns there on the offensive line, but, man, you saw it again yesterday. I'm not sure. I know he's a rookie, and I know Travis Kelce's still around, but getting older. Is there a better tight end in the NFL right now than Tyler Warren?
Probably not. I do think that he's making a case to be not only a Pro Bowler as a rookie, but an All-Pro. And, they picked 2 of those, I believe, for tight ends, first or second team. And you can make a strong case for him that he's a first-team All-Pro. I thought that he had some huge clutch plays down the stretch. Actually, a lot of people did. I mean, credit to Daniel Jones for as up and down as he was throughout that day. Had the 19-yard scramble, on 3rd and 21, and then he had the 4th down pass. Tyler Warren had the dime Tyler Warren in overtime. So they're only passive overtime to get them down there near the goal line, and obviously JT finished it off. So I think it's collective effort. But for Tyler Warren, I mean, I'm just waiting for him to hit like the rookie wall, and he just keeps knocking all the walls down. So the kid is very special, and I think that he's someone who will be beloved here for a long time in Indianapolis.
James, as the Colts hit the bye week at 8-2, obviously a record that none of us really could have seen coming, what do you think they need to work on the most in this bye week? Do you think Shane Steichen and the rest of the coaching staff are getting in the lab and work on with the guys when they look over the film?
Well, one thing I do want to ask Shane about is, his aggression when it comes to the 4th down calls. And obviously we love it when it works, and then when he doesn't work, we're like, oh, should he keep doing it? But I thought there were some opportunities yesterday where maybe you could have just took the points or took little chip shot field goals. And, those could have loomed very large had you not had JT go for an all-time great day out there. So I do want to kind of pick his brain about that. I also want to know about the status of Traverius Ward coming out of the bye week. Okay, is he going to be back for the Chiefs game? Is he not? He was out here in Berlin. He didn't make the trip. He was excited to be here and looked, pretty healthy. So what is his status going forward? And then how do you get Daniel Jones back on track? I know he had been on fire as well as the entire offense. But, again, the turnovers are kind of scary. The lack of protection that he's had up front is kind of scary. And those are the 2 things that basically plagued him with the Giants. You don't want him to revert back to the player that he was with them.
Yeah, you've tied your hands to him basically, whether you're going to sign him to an extension or a franchise tag. I mean, he is your guy going forward, especially after sending up the 2 picks to the Jets for Sauce Gardner. Real quick, this is a quick side note, going to go to IU just for a second. Did you see the Omar Cooper catch? I know you're out in Berlin, but I know the internet still works out there. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I'll give you the scene. And actually, I'm sitting next to a World War II tank right now at a memorial, so that's the other scene for you. But as far as the game goes, it was me, Stephen Holden, Joel A. Erickson, Andy Starr. We met up for dinner at this really fancy place here that Stephen picked. And I was like, I think the IU game is on. And I checked the score, thinking it was going to be a blowout, and it wasn't. I was like, oh, my gosh, I got to turn this game on. So, Mark, we use the internet, and sometimes it's not always above board, but we got the game on my phone. And I propped my phone up against, like, this water bottle that we had on our table, and we were the only ones watching this game in this very fancy place. When we made that catch, all of us kind of lost our minds, and they looked around at us like, who are these Americans, and why are they so loud?
Look at James Boyd checking in from Berlin. He's a little closer to Mother Russia. The website still works, James. That's all
there you go.
Best food you've eaten out in Berlin since you're out there, and also what was the vibe for the game yesterday?
The vibe is good for the game. I can't. You know what the thing is? I feel like I should just take pictures of what I've eaten, and I haven't done it. I'm so sorry because I can't remember the names of anything. I think one of them is like a currywurst or something like that. That was pretty good.
Oh.
It's got a lot. I feel like they have a lot of meat and bread out here. Like not a lot of grains. We actually got for a salad at the Italian restaurant. And he was like, "No, don't eat that." Out here at our Italian places, we eat a lot of bread. He was like, you can get rid of that. And I had like some kind of squash thing that was pretty good as well. I ate a lot of things that Mike Chappell would never eat. So it's been fun so far, and I'm looking forward to more. Heading to the museum later today and hopping on the Zoom. I got to hit on the Zoom for Shane Steichen at 9 p.m. German time because it's at 3 p.m. your time.
All right, well, a big day of work for you ahead. Try not to hurt yourself too much walking the streets of Berlin, okay?
Nah, these legs feel pretty good. So, and also, just to answer the second part of your question, Mark, the environment was great. It was super loud. I think it was 72,000 people, jerseys from all over, the NFL, and everyone really enjoyed it. So, met a few people who knew us in the show and things like that, so that was cool as well. So, I guess we're worldwide, guys.
Real quick, what's the travel schedule for a James Boyd? Because I knew you had some travel issues getting out. Now you're having some travel issues get back. Are you good to get back into the States?
Yeah, I'm good to get back. And they tried to just push my flight back later today, actually. I told them, hey, if you're going to push me back, just let me leave out Tuesday. Got a hotel, use the points, and so I'm not paying for much of anything today. And the museum is actually free later today to go check that out. So, just trying to, soak it in because who knows when next time I'll be here.
I just want to know if the customs agent in Germany gave you any side eye when you presented your documents.
Nah. It was actually he gave me like a nod of approval when he asked if I was here. Thought I was a fan, and I was like, "No, I'm here for work." And he's like, "What do you do?" I was like, "Professional sports writer." And he's like, "Oh, nice," and then let me in. So that was pretty much it.
Well, there you go.
You passed the fit check, by the way. You're looking solid in that suit yesterday.
Oh yes. I was the best dressed person there.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Holder, you don't get the crown this week. He's always the best dressed. It belongs to your boy.
Look at that.
The Taylor Gauntlet has been thrown down. Not Matt Taylor, but Tailor. Gauntlet has been thrown down. All right, buddy. Travel safe. Check back in with us. Is anything earth-shattering or news-breaking happens, and we'll talk to you again soon.
I'll see y'all Wednesday.
See you,
There
brother.
is James Boyd joining us live from Germany.
His YouTube, I'm assuming his YouTube search was mostly how to tie a tie, because he was talking about that on Friday. I'm going to have to learn how to tie a tie. Like, that's where YouTube comes in the most handy. It's just like do-it-yourself DIY things.
Football is becoming such a big thing. It's not becoming. It's been a big thing. But, man, it's such a crazy year for success here in the state of Indiana. You've got two teams ranked inside the top 9 in November in college football. Indiana, number 2. Notre Dame, number 9, and we talked about, and we'll talk more about Omar Cooper's amazing catch, Fernando Mendoza's ability to drive the team 80 yards. I mean, that catch overshadows the fact that Mendoza made some unbelievable throws before that play where Omar Cooper really made the play, but he got him down the field in a hurry. They didn't have a lot of time left, less than 3 minutes to go. They got to go the length of the field, essentially 80 yards, and they got that done. We'll talk about that, but I do need to take a moment out and not just throw it in as part of an, oh, yeah, by the way, in the middle of an update. Miles McLaughlin. Unbelievable.
He's been incredible.
Unbelievable. He now only needs, and I say only, 783 yards to pass Derrick Henry for the all-time career high school rushing mark. And if he stays on pace, if they keep winning, he's going to get it done.
Yeah, I think they said he needed to average like 200-something yards a game or whatever, and he had 383 and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
My God, if high school football had a fantasy football team, that guy, you'd be cruising to a championship right now.
McLaughlin needs 783 yards to pass Derrick Henry. Henry had 12,124 yards and 153 touchdowns as a high school player in Florida. And by the way, he looked the same in high school as he does right now.
Yeah.
I don't. Derrick Henry did.
I wouldn't want to tackle Derrick Henry any day of the week, but even in high school, I'm like, I wouldn't want to do that even at my age now.
Yeah. Kay Adams, who on Up and Adams had Derrick Henry on her show recently, asked Derrick Henry his thoughts about the record being broken, and Derrick Henry said, "He is a beast. Go break it, man. Records are meant to be broken." And boy, did McLaughlin break one Henry record already on Friday night. The senior from Knox has led him to a 4th straight sectional title. He's now run for 4,396 yards this season. That's more than Henry ever ran for a season at Yulee, Florida. He is 4th all-time in the single-season rushing record chase right now. Dominic Bragalone has 4,704 yards, and Miles has 4,396. If he just stays on pace and they go to the state championship game, he's going to break that too, Mark.
I mean, he's just been absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, he's getting national love and all that, but he's definitely putting. I think he's going to break the record. Don't you? Don't you think he's going? If If they make it to the championship, he's breaking it.
Every other run of his looks like a Jonathan Taylor run. Like he's backed up in the backfield, then all of a sudden he pops out between a guard and a tackle, and it's boom, gone. And you'll see linebackers and safeties that just aren't quite the physical match for him, and he just sheds them as he's going down the field.
I mean,
it's fun to watch the highlights.
One of the greatest stories going, and it's, it's another Indiana kid just doing Indiana things.
There was somebody from a TV station, WSBT, who said, Mr. Football Candidate, Miles McLaughlin.
I don't think candidate has anything to do with it. I think front runner, and that's end of list.
Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. So I just wanted to take a few minutes out of the regular show to acknowledge that, not just squeeze it in somewhere during the update, because that is just fantastic stuff. All right, now, having said that, Caleb, let's get to the morning checkdown. Football, glorious football in the state of Indiana, Mark. Just keeps getting better and better and better.
8-2, 10-0. We'll take it both.
Colts win 31-25 over the Falcons in overtime at Berlin yesterday. Jonathan Taylor, all he did was run for 244 yards, 3 touchdowns. He averaged 7.6 yards a carry. Now think about this. If you take away the 83-yard touchdown run, the man still had 161 yards rushing yesterday.
I mean, he has been truly, again, incredible. Doesn't even do the justice because, again, if there's ever going to be a year where a quarterback doesn't win MVP, it should be Jonathan Taylor, and he's doing exactly what you need to do for a non-quarterback to win the MVP, where he's putting up multiple 3-touchdown games this season already. What is it, 4 or 5 already he's done? So he's been on an insane trajectory, and he just keeps putting the team on his back. And without his performance, they don't win that game yesterday.
Oh, no. No, they
not
do
at
not.
all, because there's a couple times they could just gone for the points and kick the field goal. They elected not to, and that game wouldn't have gone to overtime had they just taken the points. So Jonathan Taylor is my MVP, not just for the Colts, but in the NFL right now.
And with that 83-yard touchdown run, though, to take the lead in the fourth quarter, Taylor passed Edgerrin James for the most rushing touchdowns in Colts franchise history. He now has 66 as he added another one to win the game in overtime. Taylor followed that up with just incredible runs and everything else. And I saw on social media, did you see Edge giving a nice little shout-out to Jonathan Taylor yesterday?
Yes, he should. He's giving the guy the props he deserves.
All right, Daniel Jones, 19-26, 255 yards. That sounds good on the surface, but he fumbled the ball 3 times, took 7 sacks. Tyler Warren bailed everybody out a couple of times, not only blocking for Jonathan Taylor, but also 8 catches, 99 yards. And right now the Colts are just finding ways to win football games. Maybe not so much in Pittsburgh, but they are finding ways to win football games.
Doesn't have to always look pretty. Sometimes it just needs to get in the column and the wins.
All right, so they will have the week off now to celebrate their bye with an 8-2 record, tied for the best record in the NFL with the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos. And then coming out of the bye a week from Sunday, they travel to Arrowhead in Kansas City to take on the blistering hot Kansas City Chiefs, who the last couple of weeks are starting to look like the Kansas City Chiefs, Mark.
They're starting to feel themselves a little bit, starting to see the old guard say, not so fast, everybody else. We're still here.
All right. Tough night last night in the NBA for the Indiana Pacers. What's new? 114-83. The injury-riddled Pacers losing to the injury-riddled Golden State Warriors, who played their third game without Steph Curry, who's got apparently a really bad respiratory cold thing going on right now. Couldn't take advantage, though. Jimmy Butler scored 21 for the Warriors. The Pacers, despite having everybody injured, had to rest Pascal Siakam. Second night of a tough back-to-back. They lost 117-100 in Denver the night before. Did you see Nikola Jokic in that game? That was easy pickings for him.
Yeah, he was having a field day.
Easy pickings for him. But anyway, Pacers now 1-9 on the season. Andrew Nembhard did lead the way last night with 14 points, 9 assists. This is the starting lineup for the Pacers last night. Jarris Walker, Jay Huff, Isaiah Jackson, Ben Shepherd, Andrew Nembhard. That was the starting lineup for the Pacers last night.
It's not been pretty. It's not been. I was hoping for a split in this 4-game road trip. They are going to be lucky not to lose all 4 because it's not been pretty at all. The injuries just keep stacking up. Doesn't seem any end in sight as far as getting any healthy bodies back in the near future. So, unfortunately, 1-11 looks like a very realistic possibility as they get back on Saturday.
They will try again tomorrow night in Salt Lake City when they take on the Utah Jazz. The Pacers Playback is presented by C&J Water, the official water treatment partner of the Indiana Pacers. CNJwater.com. All right, looking back over the weekend as well, college football, another great night for the state of Indiana. The Hoosiers hold on to their number 2 ranking this week in the AP and coaches poll, just behind Ohio State. They beat Penn State on the road in a come-from-behind effort, 27-24, an 80-yard drive to get a touchdown and the lead back with 36 seconds to go. Capped off. Do we have that catch, by the way? Don Fisher making the call of that catch. As Fernando Mendoza looked like he's going to get sacked, the blitz is on. Penn State is bringing everybody. He's off his back foot, and he floats one up to Omar Cooper at the back of the end zone, and it came with just 36 seconds remaining in the contest.
2 more chances here. 41 seconds to go. EJ and Omar both far side. Becker near side. Mendoza in the backfield, back to throw. Pressure comes again, throws it to the end zone. And the catch is made. Is it a touchdown? Touchdown! Unbelievable! Omar Cooper with a grab, and he put his foot down. It's a score for Indiana.
Everybody wasn't quite so sure. I mean, Gus Johnson lost his mind. Don had a great call there. But you had to go. There was an amazing camera angle, right, just looking straight across the back line. And Omar Cooper got that touchdown, that toe touched a good 2-3 inches inside the field of play. It wasn't like just a blade of grass between his toe and the end line. He had a little daylight there.
The physics involved, I can't comprehend, but it was just unbelievable to have the wherewithal to make the catch, know where you're at on the field, and be able to tap those toes. It was truly incredible. One of the best catches, not only in the college football season, but in the football landscape.
The toe tap heard around the world, and they were debating this on several publications yesterday.
Need to trademark that, Jeff.
Yeah.
Let's get it going.
The toe tap heard around the world, or maybe seen around the world. It was amazing, and a lot of people are saying because of what was going on, where they were, what was at stake, how things had been going in the game, that it might be one of the 3 best catches in the history of college football.
All you had to do was look at the Penn State crowd and the shocked faces on them. Like, what? Are you kidding?
I kept looking for that NCAA basketball crying kid somewhere in the crowd.
Oh, the Northwestern kid from yeah. That was Penn State. They go, this season cannot get worse.
They lost to Northwestern too.
Not ideal.
And here's the thing that always, someone was making fun of me a couple weeks ago, and I said, watch for Penn State to maybe have the dead cat bounce when they were playing Ohio State, and it didn't really work out that way. All I know is this: they were ranked in the top 10 in the preseason for a reason. They got a lot of talent on that football team. Now, the coaching has been a problem, obviously, and things have fallen apart. But I always worry when you're playing a road game against a team that just has a bunch of talented guys, Mark. And there is talent on that Penn State team.
There is, but
not
Kurt
enough.
Cignetti has them as those guys playing at an insane rate right now.
Kurt Cignetti's team, since he came to Indiana, do you know what the record is now, Mark?
I mean, it's going to be something astronomical.
All right, it's what, 20-2?
20-2.
I was going to say, there's not many losses on there. So
20-2. That's not bad right there. On the day, Mendoza had 218 yards passing, a touchdown, 1 interception that did end up hurting them a little bit, but they rallied. Omar Cooper, 6 catches, 32 yards, that touchdown. And Charlie Becker, the tight end, like there were 3 of him on the field apparently because he just kept showing up everywhere. 7 catches, 118 yards. Look, with all the talent they've got on the outside, if Charlie Becker from the tight end spot gets going and they have as many running backs as they have as well, like, where do you stop this team? Where do you go to stop them?
I don't know. I guess the playoffs at this point, the way it's going right now, because you've got Wisconsin left on the schedule and then Purdue. So both those. Wisconsin got a nice win against Washington. I mean, that was nice, but I don't know if they're going to be able to touch IU.
Purdue did lose at home to Ohio State, 34-10, the final there. Notre Dame, no problem with Navy, 49-10. And I could watch that kid, Jeremiah Love, all day long. 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's going to make a fine NFL running back.
I'm sure Maddie was just like in the hospital bed holding Nellie, the newborn baby for the Bowen family, and Kevin screaming at the television to beat Navy. I'm like, sir, can you keep it down? It's quiet hours.
Yeah.
Can you leave?
Rest in peace to Paul Tagliabue, the former NFL commissioner, passes away at the age of 84, spent 17 years in charge of the league. He was the guy that handed out all the punishments for Bountygate, if you remember that.
Yep.
As well as also bringing a lot of labor peace and started to get some of the big-time TV contracts as well that Roger Goodell has just turned into, even fivefold. But he passes away at the age of 84. And one of my favorite coaches and players from back in the day, Lenny Wilkins, the Hall of Famer, passes away at the age of 88. You said you saw that on the ticker of the NFL game last night. I did not see that.
Yeah. So not a great day going on and all that, but Lenny Wilkins, legend. Paul Tagliabue, the first commissioner I remember watching football back in the day. Also suffered from Parkinson's, which is just a horrible disease. Don't like to see anybody going through. My aunt is going through it. It is just awful. But yeah, unfortunately, we lost both those guys yesterday.
All right, also another concerning note for gambling in sports. Cleveland Guardians closer Emmanuel Clase and right-handed starter Luis L. Ortiz have been indicted on charges stemming from alleged gambling misconduct, specifically, Mark, manipulating bets on individual pitches. U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York announced the charges Sunday and unsealed the indictment. Ortiz has already been arrested in Boston. Clase is not in custody. The Department of Justice has charged the pair with wire fraud conspiracy, honest services wire fraud conspiracy, conspiracy to influence sporting contests by bribery, and money laundering conspiracy. They were taken and involved in bets up to $5,000, $7,500. Apparently, the overall bettors conspiring with the pair made at least $450,000, even though those bets on an individual basis were $5,000, $7,500, because of pitches. Like, you don't even have to throw a game.
No. Yeah, I mean, those that's the thing with these prop bets is you can bet literally pitch to pitch is what it's going to be. Ball, strike, single, home run, strikeout. I mean, it is wild. So the fact that players are now getting pinched for this stuff on top of that and the NBA stuff going on, sports is going to have a hard look in the mirror to try to figure out how do we rein this in and everything, because it's starting to get out of control. And people are, when you start affecting people's money, it's going to be a real issue. And the sports leagues all took in these gambling apps and everything like that. They've welcomed them. They've been sponsored by them. Now you're seeing players affect outcomes, and that is going to be a major issue going forward.
Yeah, and the one good thing, though, is because of the rhythms and the algorithms and the things on these computerized gambling services and things like that, I don't think athletes realize how closely they're being monitored and that they're probably going to get busted if they continue to do stuff like this, because this was, again, flagged by unusual activity that was spotted by some of these computers that keep track of all these things.
Yeah, if you put down $5 bets on pitch, results, it's not going to be an issue. When you start putting thousands of dollars on each pitch and all of a sudden it's getting flagged, people are like, well, that's weird. Why would that all of a sudden show up for this guy in particular?
Yeah.
Getting a little out of control here.
Yeah, so here's the deal money-wise. Clase's actions were alleged to have benefited bettors by a sum of $700,000, while Ortiz's accrued to the benefit of co-conspiring gamblers by a sum of $60,000. And then overall, bettors conspiring with the pair made at least $450,000 from betting platforms.
As a guy who's watched Breaking Bad and Ozark, you got to be a little more careful. You can't be just out in the open, just
betting pitches,
throwing money all over the place. You got to be a little more careful. You got to have some fronts going on. You got to have some hidden businesses. You can't be just throwing thousands of dollars on pitches. Let's be a little smarter here.
Individual.
So are you saying you watch great shows like Breaking Bad?
I'm just saying I've learned
Ozark,
enough.
And you're like, oh, okay, this is like fraud 101. I know how to do this.
I've learned enough to where if you're going to launder money, let's do it a little more responsibly and a little more carefully. Don't be just throwing $1,000 on Emmanuel Clase throwing a strike in the third inning against the Tigers.
All right. On that note, we'll take a quick time out. Coming up in a minute. Mark, we have coming up next, we've got Goats of the Week.
Goats of the Week. Let's dive into that.
Stay tuned. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Touchdown by Jonathan Taylor with his third rushing touchdown today. And in overtime, the Colts send everybody in Berlin home happy. Final score, Colts 31, Falcons 25.
And with that, another victory Monday for the Indianapolis Colts, 31-25. And Jonathan Taylor, all he did was score 3 touchdowns, 244 yards rushing. I just laugh when I say that.
Just another Sunday.
It's just how it goes. Happy to talk to James Boyd of the Fan Morning Show and The Athletic a few minutes ago, live from Berlin. Get his thoughts on that. And look, the game was not without flaws, and no game really is. You're talking about an 8-2 team that keeps finding ways to win. But after the Pittsburgh loss on the road, after having to go to overtime and the way that this one went down and Daniel Jones not being able to hold on to the ball all that well, you're a little concerned about that offensive line and Daniel Jones behind it. A little concerned. I'm not freaking out, not panicking.
No.
But it is something that needs to be addressed during this bye week and figured out.
9 sacks through the first 8 games and now 12 sacks in the last 2. So something has gone a little haywire. You will take 8-2 all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. But you also can have concerns about this team at 8-2 because you would like to see them go further. You want to see the ranks can continue to go up for them and all that, but you have to have Daniel Jones healthy. You have to have this offensive line right because you can't have Jonathan Taylor just bailing you out every single game because eventually all those carries and hits he's taken are going to catch up a little bit. You have to relieve some of the stress that he's going through.
Well, I don't think that going into the bye week, and maybe it didn't have anything to do with it. Maybe it was just game flow, but I would think 35 touches on the day for Jonathan Taylor, but I would also think that Shane Steichen was aware that they got a week and a half or almost 2 full weeks to rest this up. So
you got out of Berlin with a win. I'll get home and get right for the Chiefs.
All right, we'll talk about that more in a minute. We'll get back to the fan text line at 239-1070, 238-1070, and you can also call us up at that number as well, 238-1070. Right now, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Who is the GOAT?
I told you all that I was the greatest of all time.
Jordan, here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Or GOAT?
This guy sucks.
Of the week.
All right, the best and the worst of the week right now. Mark Dykton, since you're sitting over there in that hosting chair and you're feeling yourself and you're all about it this morning, I'm going to let you lead off with you want to start with the good goat or the bad goat of the week?
I say we continue going. When the Colts win, we start with the good. So I'm going to start with the good here. Doesn't take far to go. We went over to Berlin earlier with James Boyd. We're staying in Berlin. Carly Gordon. Not only did she have a big influence on that Sauce Gardner trade, we talked about that quote that Albert Breer had on Friday where she basically told Chris Ballard, do you want me to put a Band-Aid on this thing or do you want to take care of it for the extended period? They went for the big swing. They hit the grand slam with the Sauce Gardner trade. They took care of that. And then out in Berlin, she's buying Colts fans beers, buying patrons at the beer garden they're at. A round on her. Shout out to Carly Gordon. That is an owner I can get behind. I loved it. She tried to say it in German. She probably struggled as much as I would trying to say it. But a free round of drinks on the Colts owner, that is awesome. Carly Ursay, I mean, I love that woman. Thank you. Yes, that was from Friday.
You know, if James was here, he'd be all over you on that one, right?
It still stands true. Oh, that's why we clipped it.
Yeah.
It still stands true to this day. I love that woman. She's doing awesome things for the Colts. And an owner buying any team fan base some beers, you're good in my book. Shout out Carly Gordon.
Well, she was on my list too. I will cross that one off. But Carly Gordon or Carly Gordon, unbelievable as an owner so far. Like, you couldn't have asked for a better first few months from the owner of your football team. I think Jim would be very, very proud at this point in time.
She's been killing it.
Yeah. All right. So what do you got there, Caleb?
Well, I don't want to take the layup of the anything Indiana related. I'll go this. I'll go the Pacer side of it. How about draft nerds that are in the 317 area code? Because Pacers might, we talked about it, Mark, over the couple of breaks, might be looking at tankathon.com here pretty soon. So if you're a draft nerd, good draft NBA draft class coming up next year. Get excited because there's a lot to look forward to.
All right.
There you go.
We've talked about Carly Gordon. Congratulations to her. And obviously a GOAT. We also talked about Miles McLaughlin not too long ago. That was one on my list as well. But now that we've already talked about those two, I'm going to go with Maddie Bowen.
Look at this.
Not only does she have to put up with Kevin 24/7, but she has delivered her third beautiful child over the weekend. Say hello to Nellie Bowen, the third child for both Kevin and Maddie. And I'm sure Kevin was right there cheering her on while keeping an eye on whatever game was on TV.
One eye on the doctor, the other eye on Jeremiah Love, probably.
Yeah. But that's my go to the week.
Shout out to her. Yeah. Well done. Because, Kevin's a handful just 3 hours a day. I can't imagine 24 hours a day with him. But, shout out to them. She looks beautiful. I want to know the origin of the name because we had the Nelly Ja Rule concert not too long ago. Did that have some inspiration behind it? We'll have to wait and see.
How about Nelly?
When he gets back from paternity leave. I have questions. I want to know. But, she looks great. So shout out to her. Hope mom and baby are doing well. And Kevin will be back later this week after paternity leave. So shout out to the Bowen family getting a little bigger.
All right. Now it's time for the bad goat of the week. The Billy goat of the week. Who you got?
So I have kind of a double dip here. ESPN Disney YouTube TV dispute entered week 2. That is BS. I'm sick of it. Oh, the credits are here. You can get the credits. I want football, damn it. Stop blocking out everything. Get it done and get it over with.
Just cancel all that stuff and go join DirecTV. I get everything.
Get you again. I wanted streaming to be cheaper. It's not becoming. It's become more of a headache in and out.
You're going to end up paying more if you stream everything individually.
I know. It's insane. So get it figured out. But my true lowercase go of the week, Aaron Rodgers, you suck. And that is not just me talking. That's the stat line because yesterday was not only was I rooting for you to be bad, you had literally one of the worst nights of your career. Like a career low completion percentage. He had one of the worst, it just looked awful. And the Steelers were never in that game yesterday. The Chargers just rolled. It was all thanks to Aaron Rodgers just not being good. He's old and bad. Two things you don't want in your quarterback.
Near the end of the first half, he had DK Metcalf open at the 5-yard line going in for an easy touchdown. And you've seen this a million times. In the past, Aaron Rodgers doesn't miss that throw. And he was a good 2 yards in front of DK Metcalf, who is not a slow guy, as we all know.
No, he's a beast. And, the fact that you haven't been able to really link up with him very well this year is that is not great. And I don't know what the Steelers are going to do because you don't really have any answers at quarterback, and it's not looking good. Mike Tomlin was asked after the game to assess his quarterback, and he basically said, next question. So that's not great.
Yeah.
That's not great if you're Mike Tomlin and you're already hearing it from the fan base, and now you've got old Aaron Rodgers just bringing you down. Yeah. So breaks my heart. I'm very sad to see it. Who would have ever seen the downfall of Aaron Rodgers happen? But I'm glad it was on national TV.
My Packer wife. She's
excited.
She actively roots against Aaron. You would think that the Packers were playing against him because when he missed that pass to DK Metcalf, she's like, woo! Nice pass, Aaron. Nice pass.
We have some common ground now.
Yeah.
I dismiss it because she's a Packers fan, but if we can get on board of Aaron Rodgers' hate, we can shake across the aisle here. We can make that done in 2025.
All right. I am going to go to college football. Probably a lot of people didn't see this one Saturday.
Not if you have YouTube TV, probably not.
The Big Ten says USC should have been penalized after having reserve quarterback Sam Heward wear the same jersey number as primary punter Sam Johnson in order to successfully execute a fake punt pass in Friday's win against Northwestern. Early in the second quarter, USC faced 4th and 6. They lined up in punt formation. Heward is the team's third-string quarterback. He took the field wearing number 80. Yeah. Same number as the punter, which is also, not cool. Positioned himself as the punter. He took the long snap and then completed a 10-yard pass to Tanook Hines. USC goes on to score a touchdown on the drive, take a 14-7 lead, eventually winning 38-17.
So is the bad goat the ref there? Are you mad at Lincoln Riley?
I think it's Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley's
it's Lincoln Riley.
I mean, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right?
That's true.
I mean, he got away with it. I mean,
so here, and he's trying to laugh it off after the game. Riley says the team made Heward's number change several weeks ago and joked with reporters following the Northwestern game. You guys have to pay attention. I'm glad none of you all put it on Twitter. So they made the change 3 weeks ago, but he hasn't been on the field for anybody to see that.
Yeah.
The first time he ever goes out on the field, he's wearing the same number as the punter. Come on. Come on.
I don't like it.
Yeah, no, it was a little bit shady. Can I throw in mine quick here?
Yeah, sure.
So for all the people who are, oh my gosh, Colts only beat the Falcons by 6. How about the Bills getting absolutely wrecked on the road in Miami? That's why you never apologize for winning in this league.
It's hard.
And specifically, Josh Allen, every year he's got 2 to 3 games a year where he just is a turnover machine, running around the field like a chicken with his head cut off, or a goat with his head cut off, I should say. But that is my bad goat of the week.
Good
Josh
job.
Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Good job out of you, Caleb. All right. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll wrap it up with a look at the Pacers and what they've had to endure so far this year and what they have coming up. We'll do that next. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan on another Colts and Hoosier Victory Monday.
inside the 30-yard line. They're still going, and they're finally tackled inside the 25.
It's clobbering time. That's for a wrestling reference out there. Cult of Personality, CM Punk. Shout out to Matt Taylor out there.
Matt Taylor's always doing a great job. We love having him describe the action for us. It gets better and better every year. And, of course, my favorite, too, Mark Boyle. Like, as tough as it's been so far for the Pacers, it's still an easy listen to Mark Boyle.
Yeah, that's the mark of a good broadcast team, is even if the season isn't very good, they keep you entertained and they keep you watching because they're always just really good, and that is that crew encompassing. Because, yeah, there have been some rough ones. This is not very good, and this isn't looking very good for the Pacers right now. Just the litany of injuries. I feel like usually you go through, like, the media guide or whatever, just see, like, okay, let me make sure I got the opposing players' names right and everything. I feel like Mark Boyle and crew are probably, like, daily, like, okay, what's the starting lineup now? Who's on this roster? I feel like we need to go through the media guide for just how many different lineups the Pacers have been throwing out there in just this short amount of time as the season just got started.
I'll throw out the fact that this was the starting five for the Pacers last night at Golden State. By the way, this is the first time since that building opened that Golden State's beaten the Pacers at home. You believe that last night? How crazy is that?
Yeah, I mean, you don't really chalk that up as like the Pacers have owned the Warriors as of late, but that was the case yesterday.
So the Pacers, in fact, their one win this year was against the Warriors.
I know that was like, can we double dip? Can we get two? Can we sweep the season series?
I pointed this out earlier in the show. If you're just joining us, this was the starting five for the Indiana Pacers last night. This was the starting five. No Pascal Siakam, he was resting on the back end of a back-to-back. No Aaron Nesmith, forearm injury. All the other injuries we've documented throughout the first couple of weeks. The starting five was Isaiah Jackson, Jarris Walker, Jay Huff, Andrew Nembhard, and Ben Shepherd. First couple guys off the bench, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Cody Martin, Monty Morris, Tony Bradley, and Ray J. Dennis.
It's just hard when the depth of the Pacers was such a strength a year ago, but just to have so many injuries, you can't even flex that muscle when you got 9th and 10th guys playing starter minutes.
It's a who's who of who? Who's that? Who's that guy? Is that the new Gatorade guy? No, that's a power forward. What the hell?
The Pacers, that group, as a team last night, they shot 34% from the field, just 28% from three-point range, and they turned the ball over 20 times.
This is the basketball guys. I feel like, hey, did you guys enjoy last season? Wasn't that a lot of fun? Guess what? Here's the other side of things.
Now, some of those turnovers, too, I marked down to a bunch of guys getting thrown in together and starting to play together.
There's no way you can mesh because the lineup is changing all the time. You're just getting all these injuries going on. There's no way you can find any rhythm or any consistency. So I give Rick Carlisle and the coaching staff credit for trying to piece this thing together, but it has just been a rough go, and I don't know how any coaching staff could handle all these injuries this early on, and you're just like, we're just throwing guys against the wall and seeing what sticks at this point.
And by the way, earlier I think I labeled Charlie Becker a tight end for Indiana. He's actually backing up Elijah Surratt. All I know is that's a big, strong dude that had 7 catches for 118 yards.
You can put him in wide receiver. You can put him in tight end. You can put him probably at running back at this point, and he'd probably do pretty good. So positionally, yes, he is a wide receiver, but he is looking quite good with the IU as the key member of Kurt Signetti's crew, helping him get to 10-0 against Penn State over the weekend.
All I know is I barely remember seeing him before, and he was outstanding on Saturday. Outstanding.
He's been excellent. He's been excellent. So has Fernando Mendoza.
All right, we continue Victory Monday with another look back at the Colts' overtime win against the Atlanta Falcons in Berlin yesterday. Might have been the second greatest performance in the history of that stadium, by the way.
Jesse Owens, is that who you're referring to?
Jesse Owens in 1936 with the 4 gold medals, and then Jonathan Taylor with the 244 yards. There might have been a little more on the line for Jesse Owens, but whatever.
Just a little bit.
All right, coming up next, we'll talk about the Colts in Berlin next. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
here in front of these fans in such a historic stadium was just awesome.
I do this every day. Hocus pocus is my stilo.
It's the Fan Morning Show. Lots of magic on a Victory Monday. The Colts, the Hoosiers, just keep rolling along. Hoosiers 10-0 right now. They're the only 10-win team in college football. How about that, Mark? Forget the fact that they're ranked number 2.
Brings a tear to my eye. They're number 1 in our hearts. They can be number 2 in the polls. Number 1 in our hearts.
Gotta love that catch. I watched it again during the break because you brought it up. I'm like, I'll watch it all day long.
I have been. And there's just nothing like a great call. Don Fisher, Gus Johnson, both of them knocked it out of the park. They were all of us in that moment.
I bet Gus would like to have his voice back, though. It broke. That catch broke Gus Johnson. Think about that, Mark. The catch broke
that takes
Gus
a lot,
Johnson.
too. Gus Johnson sounded like Gus Johnson in the Wayback Machine because he brought it out. It was 10 years ago, but Gus Johnson.
Yeah, I'm very, very impressed by Curt Cignetti and the Hoosiers and their ability to just keep fighting and winning games when it doesn't look like they're going to win them. They had a couple of road wins that were tough, and they got the plays they needed down the stretch, both in Iowa City and in Happy Valley Saturday, and so they're doing well. You know, as much fun as we're having with the Colts, and that they're 8-2, and they're one of 3 teams in the NFL with a record of 8-2 now. Mark, you know who doesn't like or respect the Colts yet?
Who?
The odds makers. Go to any sports book. Nobody likes the 8-2 teams overall, by the way. Right now, the 8-2 teams have the 8th, 10th, and 11th best odds.
To win the Super Bowl?
Yes. Guess who's on top at plus 550 right now?
I'm going to say the Kansas City Chiefs.
Everybody still believes they can. Look, them getting Rashee Rice back is a huge difference maker for them because now you can't just force everything underneath.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting to turn it on a little bit, and it's going to be one of the 2 toughest tests the Colts have on the rest of the schedule. At Kansas City is no joke for any team, but this is coming out of the bye. That's going to be one you want to get.
Here are the teams listed ahead of the Colts in terms of odds right now. Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles. Nobody's going to really get too surprised over that, right?
Mm-mm.
2 teams that played in the Super Bowl last year. The Detroit Lions. Again, they've been coming the last couple of years.
Uh-huh.
The Los Angeles Rams, who looked I watched that game. They looked really good against San Francisco yesterday. The Buffalo Bills.
Boy, yeah. They had that was a weird one yesterday.
The Seahawks at plus 1,000. I like the Seahawks better than the Bills right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they've been playing really good. I was asked in the break, I said, do we have any really great teams in the NFL? The Seahawks are one that I would say, yeah, maybe. Like, they're more balanced on both sides of the ball, and they've been playing really well, and that stadium is no joke to play in.
Mark's team that shall not be named is the 7th, has the 7th best odds right now.
That defense stinks to high heaven, I'm telling you right now. That Bears defense couldn't stop a fart if you tried.
I was talking about the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, them. I thought you were talking about the Bears.
The Bears are
I was
not
going to say
one of the top.
7th in odds for the Bears. I would have been like,
you
wow.
threw me off there.
I said the team that shall not be named.
Oh, well, I don't know. The Packers stink, though. Like, I feel like they're up and down just as much as most teams because there's times Jordan Love looks pretty good, and there's other times they stink. They're getting a big test tonight, too, against the Eagles. That is a solid Monday night game.
If you're a believer in the Colts, now's the time to act. Plus 1,100.
Jump on it. If you haven't
plus
already.
1,100. Just in front of the Ravens. And then you get back-to-back the Broncos at plus 1,800 and the Patriots at plus 2,200. I like the Patriots a lot better than I like the Broncos right now.
Boy, that's
now, I will say this for
watch
the Broncos.
your DMs now saying that in Indianapolis that you love the Patriots.
Be careful now.
Be careful.
No. I'm talking about for odds. Just for odds.
Be careful.
Just for odds.
Be careful.
They're not going to win. Neither one of those teams. My point is neither one of those teams are going to win the Super Bowl.
No, but those are good odds for the Patriots. I'm not going to
lie. As we talked about with the Broncos, great defense. Might be the best defense in the NFL, but that offense comes and goes, man. Crazy.
Yeah. Drake May is your current leader for MVP voting odds, which is just
Is that right?
That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Drake May, Stafford, and Jonathan Taylor are 1, 2, and 3.
I was going to say, too, watching Stafford yesterday, I feel like he is just on an absolute heater. I'm obviously team JT MVP, but I think Stafford, to me, is the only one that's like, yeah, I could see that, too.
He's throwing to all of his tight ends in that game last night. All of them.
Yeah, he's got chemistry with Devontae Adams like Rodgers did. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Adams
Puka
apparently
Nacua is
dealing.
great. Yeah. Jonathan Taylor, you're by far your runaway leader in the Offensive Player of the Year category, minus 350. So there's no one touching him in that category, which is probably what's going to end up happening. He won't win MVP, but they'll give him Offensive Player of the Year.
Man, oh, man.
MVP is a glorified quarterback award at this point.
Way down the list now, Daniel Jones is plus 6,000 to win MVP.
Now's the time to jump on him,
too. Buy low, right?
Yeah.
Top 3 for MVP, Drake May, Matthew Stafford, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
And then Patrick Mahomes right after that.
All right, Jeff, you got some bets to make, it looks like.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what I did not have a good weekend.
Oh.
I did not
Sorry
have
to
a
hear
great
that.
weekend. Well, every once in a while, yeah. Mark, you know this better than anybody. Every once in a while, the betting odds jump up and bite you in the
Need
butt.
to get Emmanuel Classe on the phone.
Yeah.
I did a
thanks, but no thanks.
I did a Jason Hammer what's usually a Jason Hammer like no.
Yeah.
I did a parlay, but it actually hit for the Colts Falcons. So I was like, hey,
what was it? What'd you take?
I took the Falcons at plus 6.5 because we talked about this on Friday that we just thought like international travel.
Yeah.
Don't rule the Falcons out. So I took that one. Jonathan Taylor scored 2 or more touchdowns. Tyler Warren, alternate receiving yards of 40 yards or more. And Bijan Robinson, alternate rushing yards of 60 yards or more. That all hit. So that was a solid start to the morning. That was a nice cracking open the coffee in the morning. And I'm like, oh, that's looking pretty good.
I had a Colts same game. I lost the spread because I took the Colts to cover. You were smarter than I was there. I also took Tyler Warren for an anytime touchdown.
Yeah, I almost did that, and I voted against it. I was like, no, let's not get too crazy here. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. So 317-239-1070 if you want to join the chat. Give us your thoughts as the Colts head to the bye week at 8-2. Do you have any cause for concern? Or are you just like, hey, a win is a win. Doesn't matter if it's ugly or whatever. We'll take your calls, take your texts, all there at 317-239-1070. Right now on the Payless Liquors hotline, though, is Cooper wants to chime in from Ohio. Cooper, good morning, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Appreciate it. What's up?
Thanks for hanging on the line. You are on the air.
Yeah, I have no emotions in my body except for joy anytime the Colts win for the rest of the year. Because if they want to play in February, we got to be in Lucas Oil in January. And we've got 2 teams breathing down our necks with the same record, one that keeps finding a way to win, and another team who's got to play the Jets twice, and really only real team they've got to play for the rest of the year is the Bills.
No, you make a great case.
Go get that 1 seed.
No, and you're doing a great job pointing that out. Right now, the Patriots have a 4-2 conference record, which is the first tiebreak in conference. The one thing the Colts have going for them is right now, and they're ahead of the field. They got some games in hand, but they are 6-1 in the conference right now. That's where they need to keep it going.
Yeah, and the Colts have one of the tougher next schedules. We got at the Chiefs, the Texans twice, the Jaguars twice, and then at Seattle, home against the 49ers. So they've got some tough teams on the schedule here. So they made hay while they could in the first 10 games, 8-2. No one's gonna draw any ire from that, but you've got some tough ones on the schedule. So you got to want to hold down that number 1 seed in the AFC. You're going to have to earn it because Kansas City and for sure Seattle are not going to take you lightly at all.
No.
I think it's a good point, and you think about the Patriots, they have such an easy schedule to end this thing. Like nobody wants to go to Gillette in January. So yes, it is important. Colts are a domed team, and that's why I think the matchups at Kansas City and at Seattle outdoors, don't know what type of weather you're going to get, are really fascinating to add another element to why those games are so important.
Yeah, the Patriots schedule, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, yeah, it is. Talk about a cakewalk for the next. They're home against the Jets, at Cincinnati, home against the Giants, home against the Bills. That's a tough one. At Baltimore, that could be tough, but then they end the season at the Jets and home against Miami. I mean, yeah, they
just got beat by 17 points in Miami.
They have a pretty...
Or not the Bills just got beat by 17 points. Yeah.
Mike Vrabel's got those guys fighting, and that is not a... That's a very easy schedule.
He's brought that element. This is one thing I've always loved about Vrabel. Do I know if he's the best coach in the NFL? I don't know if about that. I wouldn't go that far. But his teams are going to be tough, and they are going to reflect his personality, and they are going to stand there and have a rock fight with you.
Mike Vrabel once said that he would cut his you-know-what off to win a Super Bowl, and I don't doubt that that's still true to this day, especially for the team that brought him into the league with the Patriots.
We need an actual cage match on WWE some Monday night in the offseason between he and Dan Campbell.
Oh, my God, sign me up for that. I'd pay money for that, actually.
Are you kidding me?
Hell in a Cell, Mike Vrabel against Dan Campbell. Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
WrestleMania, whatever we're at.
Look at Mark's already got the title of the
already.
bout.
Just go work for the WWE and be a promoter
already.
Come on.
He's already got the name for it. I love that right now.
Let's go. Biting ankles and cutting you-know-whats. That's the stipulation.
Yeah, week by week, and most people know it by now, but after the bye, it's at Kansas City, home against the Texans. And then
Seattle, right?
And then at Jacksonville.
At Seattle.
At Seattle. And then home against San Francisco and Jacksonville.
And at
Houston. And then at Houston to finish up.
Yep. That's tough. And here's what would be ideal if you're the Colts. And again, we're looking ahead, but I think it's the bye week now. We can do that. You get to that Week 18 game. Hopefully, that game at the end is not for the division or anything. You can take a week to rest, guys. You want to start to try and build this thing out, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough with the schedule they have coming up.
Yeah, let's go to the fan text line real quick while we got a couple of minutes here. Cody says, one report I could have lived the rest of my life happily without knowing. The Pacers were basically one ping pong ball away from winning the Wemby lottery, but instead got 6 or 7. That's how it goes.
Well, we'll see what happens now because they are firmly in the lottery at the moment here. So, I mean, I haven't done my deep dive into college basketball. I know hoops is underway, but I haven't gotten into that part as we're still in football weather and everything like that. But from what I've been told, it's a pretty solid draft at the top.
It is.
Carlos Boozer's kid's doing stuff out in Duke and everything. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, unfortunately, we might be looking at Tankathon a lot sooner than expected with the Pacers, the way it's going right now.
Carlos he waited for 52 minutes and then he had to hang up. And I get it, but it was sometimes you've heard of game flow in the NFL. Sometimes it's just show flow.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works out that way.
Sometimes we're feeling ourselves. Apologies, though. 317-239-1070. We're guest-free the rest of the way if you want to chime in. Are you in Berlin also? If you're out in Berlin and you want to make a phone call, feel free. I'm curious to see the atmosphere there.
I'd love to see if anybody's listening to us in Berlin.
I don't know. They had Country Roads playing. Over there? Country Roads just gets the people going internationally, apparently. I wouldn't have thought that, but that seems to be the thing.
It's me going.
Every time it's played in any international stadium, people just chanting word for word, lyric by lyric, the entire thing. So James said the atmosphere was very cool. That stadium looked really cool. I was flabbergasted by the giant gap. Did you see on the one side where the end zone was? It's a big gap. We got 90% done with the stadium. We're just going to stop. It was an interesting layout.
Chris says, can't beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. That's when the refs will step in and make sure they win.
Oh, here we go.
There we go. Always got to love. Hey, speaking of the refs, you know who should have gotten the GOAT too, and I'll look his name up. The referee who instantaneously made the toe is in touchdown call
that is
Indiana
a great point.
On Saturday.
Great point.
I've seen his name bandied about a couple of times, but I'll find out for you. But that dude was on it. You saw his noggin was looking right down at the end line there, man.
And I'll go the other way. Beginning of the Colts game, for the bad go to the week of what is stick on refs, Jonathan Taylor picked up a first down. I don't know if anybody caught this. And the ref came in and spotted the ball about 2.5 yards short of the first down on the first drive of the game. And I think the Colts had to pick it up on fourth down that drive, on the opening drive. That was so some good refereeing and bad refereeing. But yes, Jeff, that catch, to see that, to be right there, be in the position, if we're going to bash on refs, we also got to give them credit when they knock it out of the park like that.
Yeah, I will find his name before the end of the show. I saw it on social media the other day, but we hammer refs all the time. That dude was in position, looking at the right thing, waited momentarily to make the call, and then we all went back and looked at it on review, and we're like, oh, that dude was on it.
Mm-hmm.
He was on it, because that toe tap was a good 2-3 inches inside the line.
Again,
I still don't know physics. I don't understand how he did that.
I don't know. There's a couple things I don't understand in this world. Physics and electricity. How does electricity work? I don't know. But there's stuff like that where I'm just like, how on earth do you have the wherewithal to know where you're at on the field in the end zone, getting those toes down, and also calling again and all that's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And that just kind of another example of how Kurt Cignetti's got those guys playing to the very last down in every college football game. They've been unbelievable.
Yeah, I got to love that. Also, social media thinks they have clear evidence of the refs rigging Penn State-Indiana game.
Oh, come on.
Football fans were furious after a college football referee inadvertently lent a helping hand to Penn State running back Nick Singleton in the game against the Hoosiers. They say is what will go down as one of the best games of the season. Number 2 ranked Hoosiers narrowly escaped 27-24. Fernando Mendoza, of course, gets it to Omar Cooper. But it's fortunate for the officials that Nick Singleton's fourth quarter touchdown didn't affect the game's outcome because, as you can see below, he sure got some special assistance on the rushing score.
I'm sure all those are coming from...
So Indiana overcame poor reffing earlier with great reffing at the end to get the win.
I'm gonna guess all those calls for like it was gifted for them came from the Pennsylvania area code somewhere. Oh, look at the uptick there. You want to talk about gambling in baseball having upticks on manual Class A's pitches? It's probably an uptick in Pennsylvania tweets about the game being given to them by the refs. Unsurprisingly,
man,
come on, people.
Just great stuff. I wish there were words that could accurately describe Omar Cooper Jr. saving that game.
I could say the words I said out loud, but we'd get kicked off the air. Because it's like, oh my God, he pulled it in. That's a clean version, too. Because I didn't think... I thought he was out. I thought they were going to rule him out. And then you saw the replay, like, oh my God, he pulled that ball down, and they're in, and they're going to win this game. Truly unbelievable.
They are
Penn
10-0.
State fans still haven't recovered.
We'll see how it affects the second release of the college football playoff rankings this week. But right now, I would have... Look, Ohio State won. Indiana won. It's going to be 1-2. It's going to be 1-2. They're both going to end up getting a bye if Indiana just takes care of business. But how cool is that championship game over at Lucas Oil going to be for the Big Ten
State's got to beat
championship
Michigan, though. I mean, you can't count the eggs before they hatch, right?
That'd be terrible, wouldn't it? If Ohio State happened to lose to Michigan. Oh,
I mean, after last year, can you really say Michigan can't beat Ohio State?
All right, let's check it down and tell everybody what's happening with the facts, figures, and things of that nature. Colts win 31-25 in overtime. All Jonathan Taylor did was rush for 244 yards, 83 of those yards coming on one play, a touchdown. He averaged 7.6 yards per carry. He also caught 3 passes for another 42 yards. And there goes that man again, number 28.
There's the record breaker for Jonathan Taylor, and it puts the Colts on top, 22-17.
Yeah, they'd go on to win 31-25 in overtime after the Colts stopped the foul. Did you see officials tried to screw up the coin toss in overtime, too?
I did see that. I'm like, if that goes the Colts' way, does that count? I was waiting for someone to yell that. Like, the rig is in.
Anyway, they got the coin toss right. The Falcons were stopped. The Colts scored. That was the end of it. Didn't even need a field goal.
No.
Just give it to Jonathan Taylor.
You could have taken a field goal, probably would have saved yourself overtime, but that's it for another story for Shane Steichen.
Daniel Jones, 19 of 26, 255 yards, but he was sacked 7 times, let go of the ball 3 times. Tyler Warren, though, man, was he a game saver, both as a blocker and a receiver. He led the way on a couple of touchdown runs there, but he also had 8 catches for 99 yards. He's got to be the offensive rookie of the year. Got to be.
Has to be. I should look those up, too. We've been going through odds in the last... I should see what he's at, because he's got to be... If he's not the front runner, he's got to be close.
All right, so the Colts now have a tie for the best record in the NFL. They are tied with New England and Denver. Curiously, both those teams in the AFC. All 3 of them are 8-2 at this point in time, but the Colts have the better conference record as we sit here today. So if everything just came to a halt and the end of the season came today, the Colts would be the number 1 seed in the AFC, and everything would come through Lucas Oil. You need to keep that up, Caleb, to your point a minute ago.
Absolutely. I think it's vital heading into January.
Tyler Warren, the 3rd best odds for Offensive Rookie of the Year. You want to guess who the other 2 are?
Quarterbacks.
1 quarterback, 1 wide receiver.
Really? We got
Emeka Egbuka from the Bucks is the front runner.
Oh, come on.
And Jackson Dart of the Giants, who left with a concussion yesterday against the Bears, plus 150. Tyler Warren right now, 3rd best odds at plus 600 for Offensive Rookie of the Year. So, I think Tyler Warren's going to pull it off. There are some odds to be had right now to jump on the Tyler Warren train.
All right, so the Colts have a bye week this week, trying to get everything together and figure out what's going on with the offensive line and pass protection and where it's been breaking down and how they can fix that. And then they will play on the road in Kansas City. So the good news is they're going to come out of a bye. And if you have to play Kansas City, at least you're coming out of a bye. You have a chance to really scout them and work them hard. But that'll be a week from Sunday as they resume the season there. Meanwhile, Sunday night football last night, Chargers 25, Steelers 10. I know this is heartbreaking for you in so many
Breaks
different
my
ways.
heart. Absolutely. But say those stats again, please.
Out
loud.
What were the Aaron Rodgers stats? Because you had those.
Oh, they're
up a little
horrific.
while ago.
They had a screenshot of it. There was like third worst percentage ever, and this and that. I'd have to pull it up. I think I'm gonna get it printed off at like a Kinko's or something. Those still around, and get it put on my wall.
I was going to give you the honor of saying those because you hate Aaron Rodgers so much. 16 of 31 for 161 yards, 2 interceptions, had the 1 touchdown. I had a quarterback rating of 4.6.
Yeah. Right here.
QBR goes on a 1 to 100 scale, 4.6.
He had a second lowest completion percentage, third lowest yards per pass, and lowest quarterback rating of his career. Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I'm so sad. I shed a tear last night.
All right. So that was Sunday Night Football last night. And what do we have coming up for Monday Night Football tonight, Mark? The Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, they will be playing tonight against the
Green Bay Packers.
I just wanted to hear you say it. That's all.
Beat their ass. Take Matt LaFleur, make the heat go on Matt LaFleur some more because I know Packers fans are not happy with the way he's coached so far. Let's turn the heat up a little bit more.
Packers suck.
Thank you, Caleb.
All right. Turning our attention to the NBA. Yesterday, Golden State with a win over Indiana, 114-83. Pacers were resting Pascal Siakam and also just don't have really anybody available other than Andrew Nembhard, who led the team with 14 points and 9 assists. I'm going to say this for the third time this morning if you're just joining us. The starting lineup for the Pacers yesterday was Jarris Walker, Jay Huff, Isaiah Jackson, Ben Shepherd, Andrew Nembhard.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Four-game road trip continues tomorrow night. They'll be in Utah. You'll hear that one right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Like, if he wasn't shaving it bald already, you got to think that Rick would just be losing hair left and right.
Oh, he has to be. Just figuring out who's the healthy bodies that you can throw in the lineup every day.
Yeah, that one was tough. We can also tell you, I want to point out that Miles McLaughlin, 383 yards rushing, led Knox to their 4th straight sectional title. They beat Marion 48-14. He needs 783 yards now to pass Derrick Henry for the all-time career high school rushing record. He's got a couple of games to go, but at the pace he's going at, there's a shot.
I think he's going to get done.
He's got a shot.
I think he's going to get done.
He's got a shot.
We should mention college hoops real quick because it's too early for me to get in college hoops when I'm in football mode, but Purdue, 87-77 winners over Oakland on Friday, and then yesterday, the IU Hoosiers rolled to a 2-0 start with a 177 win over Marquette. So solid start for both big schools in basketball.
Yeah, and you didn't know what to expect with IU because so many new players, brand new coach. But man, they're going to hit threes. They're going to take a lot of 3-point shots. They're going to get the ball up and down the floor, and so far so good.
So far so good.
All right. Anything else you guys want to throw in before we get there? Caleb, you look like you had something
I don't
to throw
have
in?
anything. You guys covered it all. I mean, it's just. I'm new to Indianapolis to be here while all these sports are just
you're the good luck
taking off. Like it's unbelievable. It's a crazy weekend.
All right. Also, rest in peace to Paul Tagliabue, the former NFL commissioner, passed away at the age of 84 over the weekend. And Lenny Wilkins, the Hall of Fame coach and player in the NBA, passes away at the age of 88.
And what friend would I be if I didn't mention this? Because I know Kevin's out on paternity leave, but did you see Brian Kelly rejecting 2 financial settlements from LSU? And his attorneys have given LSU officials a Monday deadline that they want his $54 million payout that he's owed under the terms of their contract. So Brian Kelly not going quietly into the night.
I'm not a Brian Kelly fan at all. But if you terminate me and you owe me $54 million, why am I negotiating any kind of a settlement?
Yeah. You agreed to these terms to begin with. That's your fault. I may suck at my job, but you also agreed to these terms. Pay me my money. Pay that man his money.
Unless maybe LSU knows something about Brian Kelly behind the scenes that we don't know. I'm not suggesting there is or isn't. I'm just saying it's kind of curious to me.
So there you go. Monday deadline. Pay up, LSU.
All right. Coming up in a moment, headlines from the day yesterday, Mark Dykton. I know people have been deluging your inbox with those things. We'll let you read some of those off in a moment as we continue at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
has beaten Penn State here today for the first time in school history. The final score, Indiana 27, Penn State 24.
All right, this is a perfect time to light up our executive producer / assistant program director, guy who makes everything run right, Todd Meyer. First of all, Todd, who's Mr. Purdue through and through, said he thought Gus Johnson's call was awful, continues to be a cartoon, which a lot of people feel that way, and that Don Fisher is just the best. And you actually said, I got to screenshot this, Mr. Purdue, because he never says anything nice
Nothing positive
about
ever.
IU. And then, of course, then he backs it up. On a Monday, when the Colts are 10-2 going to a bye, and Indiana is the second-ranked football team in the country, he said, we haven't even mentioned Purdue or IU basketball, which we just did a few minutes ago, by the way, because it's that time of year. It's football. And yes, they're going to have plenty of time. We're going to talk about them, and we did bring them up.
Mm-hmm.
And right now they belong in the sports flashes.
Yeah.
I will say about Purdue, though, I mean, they were sweating there with Oakland for a little
They
bit.
were
coming off a beating against Kentucky.
But they're both 2-0 to start the season, so strong starts for both of them. Just takes me a little bit to get into college basketball mode. It's too early right now. We're deep in late in the college football season. We're at like little over the halfway point of the NFL season.
So I see where he's coming from. He wants us to make everybody right. No, I don't care about Indiana and Purdue basketball today.
Not right now.
Today, I don't. I care about them in general, but today it's about Jonathan Taylor. It's about Omar Cooper. It's about Miles McLaughlin. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what's going on today.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not sorry. Shouldn't even have to apologize.
We're heading into a Colts bye week. We'll get into more hoops talk, I'm sure, as the week goes on. Not after a victory Monday. Not after an international overtime win in Berlin, or the way that IU beat Penn State over the weekend. Got to take a little bit of the backseat for that one. But been taking all your calls so far today, texts and tweets as well. Continue those. 239-1070. We'll take more before we get out of here. But right now, I do believe, Caleb, it's time for some post-game headlines.
Extra! Read all about it!
I can't read it. There's no words on it.
I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world tonight.
Ripped from the headlines of the newspaper.
We'll do it live.
Post-game headlines.
Thing sucks.
So, just like I do after every Colts game win or loss, I send out the show tweet and I say, in 5 words or less, sum up your thoughts of how the Colts game went and your big takeaways from the win. Yesterday was an overtime win over the Atlanta Falcons. Jonathan Taylor did Jonathan Taylor things, but there were some questionable things that also happened as the Colts enter the bye week at 8-2. So we'll go through a couple of the ones I thought were the best. Billy Slick Willie says, JT says, Auf Wiedersehen, Falcons. I really like the use of the German in there. That was solid right there. Another good one was by Jeremy. He said, JT and OT, Ubermensch. And I had to look up what Ubermensch meant. That means the ideal superior man of the future who could rise above conventional Christian morality to create and impose his own values and will. That is well done, because when I'm going to the dictionary on a post-game headline in 5 words, that's well done there. That golf guy says questionable coaching almost caught us. Alex, the IU football fan, said Taylor Blitzkrieg saves Colts. C. Fleet said Jonathan Taylor happened again. I'm not a bot, which also means that's kind of code that you are a bot. Said Shane, just take the 3. I would tend to agree with a couple of those. Jason Ellis chimed in and said too many 7-step drops. I would agree with that, given the state of the offensive line these last 2 games. So those are some of the post-game headlines I liked as well. And then Skivvy's chimed in with a screenshot of Daniel Jones's bloody mouth and said Colts O-line, bloody hell.
I would just say Taylor marches on Europe.
Yeah. Yeah, those are well done there. And then
nice.
Maybe Taylor marches on, sweeps Europe. There's my 5 words.
That works too. So there's your post-game headlines there. I thought, I like the use of the German words there. And then obviously in the bye week, we might do one even still with the bye week and just say, like, what are your thoughts as the Colts enter the bye week at 8-2? We might do that next week, so have a little something more to discuss. But so we have a lot of things, a lot of good vibes going with 8-2. Can't complain about that. But obviously some questions going on the last 2 weeks, whether it's the offensive line, Daniel Jones having a little bit of the whoopsie hands and they're losing control of the ball a little bit more. So yes, you love 8-2. You'd sign up for that all the time, but no team is perfect in the NFL, and we're starting to see a little bit of cracks in the Colts at the moment.
All right, coming up in a moment, we'll get back to the phone lines. You've been waiting to get in. Now's the time to do it. 239-1070. We'll wrap it up with your voices next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Colts history.
There you go. Jonathan Taylor, 244 yards and new Colts record. 66 touchdowns now after the second one, or after the third one yesterday?
Getting up there. Yeah.
Man,
incredible.
oh, man, oh, man. All right, we got some great calls to finish up the show. Let's start with Derek, who is calling from Germany this morning at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Derek, I'm guessing you did attend the football game yesterday, correct?
Yes. Guten Tag, gentlemen. Can you hear me? I'm having a call through WhatsApp.
Yeah, it's a little clouded, but we got you. Go for it.
Yeah, well, I was on a train doing a tour of Potsdam, having to learn about Frederick the Great and the Prussians, but I guess I missed the goats of the day, right?
A little bit.
Okay. So my good goat, of course, is Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
For 244 yards and breaking the record. And my bad goat is Clete Blakeman, who probably had the worst NFL call, especially in Europe. He definitely had the worst call of an NFL game in Europe. What do you think about that?
How'd you feel about the muffed coin toss at the beginning of overtime?
We didn't know what was going on. We were thinking
Neither
that it was going to be overtime, but I found out. You guys actually found out before we did that we were in overtime because we still had 10 seconds on the clock, and I got a ping from my wife that we were going to overtime. So you guys found out something before we did.
Real quick, Derek, what was the vibe in the stadium, and how does that rank to other Colts games you've attended?
The vibe in the stadium was crazy. They kept doing the wave too many damn times. Probably 20 times around the stadium, I would say we did the wave. I got tired of that. But the vibe was good. It was all different kind of fans represented. There was a lot of Falcons fans there. And they were making fun of me until the end, and I told them that was their Super Bowl.
I hope they were crying in their German beer at the very end. Thanks, Derek. I appreciate the phone call. Travel safe home, buddy.
All right, thank you.
There you go. For calling him, how about that? What's calling for his goats?
Yeah.
I couldn't quite understand him at first, but then I figured it out.
That's okay. I figured calling internationally could be a little tricky there.
Yeah. This is going to be a great call, too. Eric joins us next, 239-1070. Eric, you've got an amazing story to tell us today, right?
I guess you could say that. My name is Eric, and first of all, I want to thank you guys for the excellent work that you guys do on a day in and day out basis. I've enjoyed listening to you guys in the stations since 1996 when we relocated here from the Bay Area. But I just wanted to say this morning, just so grateful for the win yesterday, excited for the team, excited for Jonathan Taylor's wonderful performance yesterday and the historical significance of it. And you also mentioned from a historical standpoint that Berlin was the location of the 1936 Olympics, and my great uncle was Jesse Owens.
Wow,
that's incredible.
And the USA, the iconic Olympian. So it did my heart glad. Just so wonderful to hear you guys recognize him and still remember what took place so many years ago.
Well, if anybody grows up as a true dedicated sports fan that reads about anything and everything that comes up, Olympics, football, basketball, baseball, whatever, if you don't know the name Jesse Owens and you're a little bit younger, go look it up today. One of the most amazing, if not the most amazing and inspiring sports figures in American sports history. Thanks for the phone call.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
That's incredible.
Yeah, Jesse Owens in the 1936 Olympic Games in that stadium that the Colts played in yesterday, 4 gold medals to take down what was at the time the rising threat of Nazism.
Yeah, Jesse Owens, one of the signature athletes of the entire Olympic Games history. So unbelievable to be related to him. I don't think I've done a 23andMe that I've got any close to any kind of relativity like that. That's incredible.
Yeah, all my relatives are like Chuck the Gardener, stuff like that.
Yeah, none of mine were ever like kings or queens or anything like that, or like inherited royalty or riches or anything like that. Nope, they're all like plumber, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's go to Carlos, who's called in for the second time today. Carlos, I know you waited for a long time before. You just kind of called in at a very unfortunate time, but you're on the air now, man. What do you got?
No, I want to talk about 3 major things. Number one, it's up to JT, MVP, all the way, and he's a complete back man. He's not only run the for a while, but also pass protection. He's just so fine. He's just a complete back. And then, hopefully Tyler Warren gets the Rookie of the Year. He just does it in many different ways. And also, I'm so glad to see that adjustments on the defensive line, losing a big piece like Buckner. I mean, it's just, we got to plug that front. So, because, we gave up, 34 yards last week against Pittsburgh?
Too many.
34 yards last week against Pittsburgh. And this week we give up 150 something. But, I mean, it's still, a great effort from the defensive line, And also, the other issue I want to talk about is, how quick we were on the first 7-8 weeks, 2-3 step back drop and then let it go. People are going to make adjustment, guys. It's not only the offensive line. The other guys get paid too. I mean, they were blitzing the run just like we did that we have to do because Wagner's out. So, I mean, I think the coaching staff is going to make it. Offensive line is fine. It's just scheme. I mean, General Jones was dropping way too far. And, play action pass too. I mean, we tried a couple of times and boom, they were right on his face.
Yeah, they had a huge pressure and rush yesterday in the last two games, really. Carlos, thanks for calling back in. I really appreciate that. Look, a lot of it is Daniel Jones has got to get better too. Mm-hmm. One of the great things that everybody was pumping him up for the first 7 weeks of the season, 8 weeks of the season was on time and on target. On time and on target. Mm-hmm. Well, he's had trouble getting the ball out on time. I don't know how much of that is his fault, how much of it goes back to he's made to throw it quicker because here comes the rush. I don't know what has changed or what's going on, but Pittsburgh clearly saw something. Now, they have game records like T.J. Watt. I get it. They saw something, and clearly the Falcons looked at that tape and went, oh, so this is how you attack the Colts up front. And Jonathan Taylor had a couple of unbelievable individual plays yesterday. I'll remind everybody that on the 83-yard touchdown run, it wasn't like there was just some wide-open hole there. There was all kinds of people collecting in one spot in the backfield, and next thing you know, 28 comes running out on the left side, and it was off to the races.
He ran into a mass of humanity, and I'm like, this play's dead, and they just spun out and bounced, and he took off, and I'm like, there's nothing but daylight between him and the touchdown right now. So that was incredible. Yes, they have things to work on and whatnot. Daniel Jones's mental clock seems to be speeding up a little bit, given the offensive line issues and everything like that. But again, I think the bye week is hitting at the perfect time. You are 8-2. Shane Steichen and the coaching staff are seeing some things flare up, some issues they want to nip in the bud. Now's the perfect time to do it and get ready for the biggest test of the season when the Kansas City Chiefs are on the schedule in a couple weeks.
All right, we will talk more IU and Purdue basketball as the week goes along, but today was about I think one caller or one texter put it right. I can't remember. It was so long ago. What was the play of the weekend? Was it Omar Cooper? Was it Jonathan Taylor? Or was it Jeremiah Love?
Yes. Yes to all three. Tie.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. We got Jay Query coming your way from noon to 3 today. More on big day in football and college football in the last 48 hours as well. And then JMV comes by from 3 to 6, and he'll be talking about all those things as well. Have yourselves a terrific day. Thanks for all the calls. Thanks for all the texts. Thanks for everything on social media. You guys make this show run. We'll talk more tomorrow right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.